How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the show. I wanted to hit a note that didn't match with anything that was going on. That it just sounded. I wanted it to be discordant and wrong. And man, what a show! What a show you've all chosen to tune into freely of your own free will and accord. And now you're here for it, and you can't not be. Hi, I'm Forrest Valkai, professional, obnoxious son of a bitch on the line, and I'm joined today by the kind and demure and much more professional Owen Morgan. How are you today?
Thank you. Good. Glad to be here. Thank you for hosting with me. It's going to be awesome, right?
Thank you. Most definitely. Send your super chats so we can afford to buy a fire extinguisher to put out Owen's head. Today is the Sunday show after dark. It's the Sunday show that happens after dark. Tune in right now at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, where we will be taking calls from theists and creationists and Bible believers and science deniers and all sorts of other people who want to have productive conversations with folks like us, heathens, demonic atheists, Satan worshippers, evil baby eating, abortion having, Cardi B listening to Antifa sheeple, us, the ones who want to make America Marxist again. That's who we are.
Antifa, and also,
yes.
Isn't Cardi B like terrible? I don't know. I'm not up on the lore.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know either. I just know words.
Remember?
Is she really? That would be very funny if she was. We had a great show for everybody tonight. If you are out there and you believe in Jesus, or if you believe in God, or if you don't believe in evolution, or that the Earth is 4.6 billion years old, if you want to talk about Mormonism or Jehovah's Witnesses, if you want to talk about sex and gender, if you want to talk about LGBT rights and why they must be protected, if you want to talk about the rise of Christian nationalism, if you take an opinion that is opposite of ours on this channel, then this is the show for you, because we are not as constrained by time as the other shows, and you have two hosts that are notorious for being very polite and letting calls go on for way too fucking long. This is your chance to make your case in front of tens of thousands of people. The number on the bottom of the screen is 720-619-2288. Or if you're outside of the U.S., you can use the web link down in the description. I'd also like to take this opportunity to say that I am mad at Jimmy Snow because that son of a bitch got to host with Jesse Jerdak today. And I'm jealous. I'm mad jealous. So, extra fuck you to Jimmy today. Exciting. Owen, what do you got going on in your life, my dude? How are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well. I just found out that... we're announcing now that my wife is pregnant, so that's pretty exciting. We're going to have a little telltale running around. Pretty exciting stuff. Babies are expensive, so donate. That would be appreciated. It means a lot. Everybody at the line gets a piece of your donations, the hosts included, the producers included. So it would mean a lot. And, and I also... I'm a retro game collector. I'm sure many people probably know that if they watch my stuff, but that's the wrong direction. I just had to move all of my game stuff out of the bedroom because we're going to be putting a kid in that bedroom soon. So that's what's behind me. I just set it all up, like my whole collection. And that's it. That's why I now have a fire behind me. So
that is an exceptional collection. That looks really, really good.
Yeah, thank you. It's really not that expensive. It's mostly like $1 or $2 per item, but just the display itself is what took.
It looks great.
Yeah.
How are you on NES games, Nintendo Entertainment System?
I love. Yes, I have actually a couple of really rare ones over there. Big fan. In fact, you can see the NES right there next to my.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right there with Mario 3 in it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Have you ever played a NES game called Big Nose the Caveman?
I haven't played it, but I know it. I've heard of it. Yeah.
Okay.
And I actually,
a copy. And
you have a
next
copy?
time we chill, we will play. Yes, I do. We will play next time we chill. It's a phenomenal game.
I have a Raspberry Pi here that in this cute little 64 case, and it's an emulator.
Yeah.
So
that's excellent.
Yeah.
Well, lines are open. Sorry. Okay. Lines are open right now. 720-619-2288, or use the web link down in the description if you are outside of the US. We already have people in the queue right now, but they got to go through screening and everything. So at this moment, we are stalling for time. And in the interest of stalling for time, I would like to reiterate something that I've been talking about a bit lately. I just released a video today about the terrible OU essay that just happened. What are you doing to me? Oh, I grabbed some already. Thank you so much, my love. You're so wonderful. But the terrible OU essay, in case you aren't familiar, an event happened last week. That was, or I think it was last week, the most mundane, boring, commonplace thing in the world happened, and it has now become national news. A lazy college student wrote a shitty essay and got a 0 on it. It's happened. It's all every day forever. It always is a thing. But in this case, because this student flatly refused to do their assignment and instead wrote 2 pages longer than they had to write, more than she had to write for the actual assignment, wrote all about God and how
down from the mountain.
God made.
Just in
what's happening? He was going down from a mountain. How God made man and woman. And
that's weird.
Hell yeah. And how trans people are demonic and all sorts of other stuff. And of course she got a 0, and now she is claiming that her rights are being violated and that she's being discriminated against because she's Christian and she used her freedom of speech. And this is very clearly this kid's fucking audition tape for Turning Point USA. And it really sucks, and it's making national news because OU fucking put the instructor on administrative leave, and the heads of OU said, we're going to remove this 0 from your transcript. We're going to drop this grade for you. And also the governor of Oklahoma spoke out about it and said that we need to make sure this child's fucking rights are protected. And she got a citation of recognition or whatever the fuck from the House of Representatives. So here's the news, apparently, in Oklahoma. If you want to do whatever the fuck you want in college, what's 2 + 2? Jesus. It's literally, it's the joke that we made in middle school, that if we take a science class and they say, how does this work? We just say it's what God wants, and so that's what happens. That was a joke we used to make in middle school, and she literally did the meme and got away with it, and is now getting massive amounts of attention and recognition, and it sucks so bad. So you can go watch my 50-minute long video about it if you want to hear all the details and hear my entire critique. But shit sucks. And if you're out there watching and you think that she was onto something, if you think that Samantha Folnicki knows what the hell she's talking about, or didn't write a steaming pile of trash of an essay, or has interesting points, or anything like that, call on in. 720-619-2288. Let's talk about it. It'll be great.
Yeah, I actually covered that as well. Mine was a lot shorter. It was only like 15 minutes or something, and it released today. But I read the essay, and I assume you read the essay too, and it was literally just a protest.
Read it on the
like, she wasn't even doing it. Yeah. She wasn't even doing the essay. And I guess she's going to be like their new figurehead, their new, big popular. What a joke, dude. This is so sad that we are at this point in this country, that this is what, and I'm wondering, do you have any updates on the teacher? Like, was the teacher just put on administrative leave pending an investigation, or did the investigation pan out, or what, you know?
I don't have any updates on that. I do have updates on the fact that a second teacher has now been placed on leave because they had a protest. Yeah, the students had a protest saying, "Hey, this is bullshit. We don't want our degrees to be worthless because people see that this is how you treat the classwork." And so there's massive student protest, and another instructor said, "Hey, if you go to a protest, that's an excused absence. So if you go to this protest, just know you're not going to be in trouble with me." And that person is now placed on administrative leave because they didn't also say, you can also go protest for her and say how much you love Jesus. And that means that they were biased.
So stupid.
And so, like, what gets me about it, what I talked about today earlier, I was on AXP, and what I talked about earlier about it is like, this is a fucking embarrassing story, and it sucks, and it makes Oklahoma look worse than it already does. It makes America look worse than it already does. It blows. But what beyond that, way beyond some fucking airheaded narcissist who refused to do an assignment and preached about demons for fucking 2 miserable pages, way longer than all that, is that, like, this is the result of Christian nationalism, right? This is the reason why Samantha was able to get the press attention she's getting and able to get the university to fucking bow. The fact that all this happened with such little pressure, they folded so quickly, is because of Christian nationalism, because of this brand of Christianity wrapped up with this fucking hyper nationalist movement. And that is fucking scary because I know I'm preaching to the choir here. Like, consider, for example, the worship of a redemptive and infallible leader, the focus on a mythical age and rage against the current corrupt system, fixation on a perceived national decline, scapegoating a minoritized population to prop up this fantasy of victimhood, fear of replacement, causing distrust of equality, a quest for purity, the cleansing of the nation, preserving a nation that's under attack, even from within it is under attack, disdain for academia and the arts when they're not aligned with the preferred narrative, the belief that the United States was founded on a Christian tradition and is now off track and needs to be pulled back. Every bit of that is the evangelical Christian narrative that people like Samantha Folnicki believe in, and it is also literally the tenets of fascism. It is so easy to draw that fucking line. And so, like, is this Samantha's problem? Is this Samantha's fault? Obviously not. She's a fucking idiot who wrote a shitty essay. The problem is that this is a symptom of a great, big, scary fucking disease that we are seeing with Trump, with ICE, with the mega churches that we have in this country, with every part of it that all comes together to show that we are not just on the road to fascism, we are at fucking fascism. And that's very scary.
Yeah. And you know what else? My wife she works for American Atheists as their legal counsel, and has made a compelling case to me that Christian nationalism, the leadership of Christian nationalists in the United States, like the politicians who are, paving the way, Jason Rapert running the National Association for Christian Lawyers and people like that. She's made a compelling case that the leadership of the Christian nationalist movement in the United States don't even care about Christianity. They care about racism against Black people specifically. And that's like the whole goal. And every single thing that they do is for that purpose.
Yeah.
Pretty disturbing stuff. Trying to convince you to write a paper on it, but yeah.
We literally just had the fucking, what was it? Department of Homeland Security? I think it was. That just tweeted out fucking remigration. Like, we need remigration now. And that isn't like a word that could mean this and could mean that. That is an actual white supremacist word. That is actually a word used by fucking Nazis.
Exactly.
It means that they want to take everyone who isn't white out of the country. It means deporting anyone who isn't white and developing racial purity. Let me actually pull it up really quick.
That is absolutely psychotic. They've been using a lot of, while you're pulling that up, they've been using a lot of openly direct Nazi language. The Great Replacement is a conspiracy from Germany during World War II. I mean, it's earlier than that, of course, and it's been used elsewhere, but it is a fully Nazi ideology. Beliefs.
Yeah, here, remigration. This is a far-right concept of ethnic cleansing, mass deportation of non-white minority populations, especially immigrants, sometimes including those born in Europe and holding European citizenship. This is a Nazi fucking rhetoric talking point. This is a white supremacist concept to get all non-white minority populations, especially immigrants, mass deported. And this is what our government is actually saying on official accounts that they want. So again, like all the fucking MAGA people that get pissed off and they're like, oh, quit calling us Nazis, quit supporting Nazis, quit being Nazis. Oh, quit calling us fascists, quit fucking voting for fascism, quit allowing fascism. If you don't want to be called Nazis, you don't want to be called fascists, and you don't want to be called white supremacists, quit doing that shit. If you said we don't want any more immigrants, I'd have a problem with you. But at least you could pretend that it's not fucking just outright racism. But when they're literally using far-right, ultra-nationalist, racist slogans to say we are going to be doing mass deportations, and they're passing fucking law, they had the Supreme Court say that literally racial profiling is okay now. Just the color of someone's skin, the language they're speaking, and where they're working is enough evidence to grab somebody off the street, citizen or no. That the Constitution just doesn't fucking matter. The Fifth Amendment and the 14th Amendment don't fucking matter anymore. I'm sorry. That's fucking Nazi shit. And I just have so little patience for it anymore.
Yeah, and I think it's the Department of Homeland Security, or maybe it's ICE Twitter account that has been posting for a while memes and stuff. And this is maybe the second or third time they've posted pictures of themselves of like ICE and stuff wearing World War II Nazi helmets, like Wehrmacht helmets. Why would they put Wehrmacht helmets on themselves instead of American helmets? I don't understand. Literally, like not once, a minimum of twice. I have the two pictures that I can't pull up in a moment. But what is going on? The literal Nazis, like self-avowed.
That's what I'm saying. Like that fucking, I'm telling you, dude, that second S on Secretary of War, don't think it was a mistake. You know, I mean, just say, it pisses me off so bad, and it sucks so bad, and it just blows. But
sucks and blows.
This is a call-in show. Sucks and blows. It does them both, and not in the good way. It does whichever one you want. It does the opposite. But we do have calls waiting. And we're going to have more come in as we go along because that's usually what happens. So do you want to start with line number 4, looking at the leftmost number there?
Yep, that works for me.
I think that's somebody who wants to talk to you more than anybody, so that sounds good. Let's talk to Jeff, pronouns he, him, kicking off our show, who wants to talk about a lot of different things, inspired by Owen's website. Jeff, you are on the line with Forrest and Owen. How are you doing today?
Guys, can you hear me good?
Yeah.
I can hear you just fine.
All right. First off, hey, big fans of both of y'all. Y'all are both amazing. But great replacement theory is one of the most mystifying things ever because why do people being brown, why is that like a bad thing in this country? I genuinely cannot comprehend. Like, don't these people realize that, like, we need the immigrants for our economy? We need them. And the second generation will be American. They will not have the accents they hate.
So it's two major things. Number one, take the microphone a little bit away from your face, please. It's getting really crackly. And the second thing is that, like, I think the biggest issue is that they are afraid that if white people become a minority, that they will be treated the way that they have treated every other minority. I think that's the biggest thing that scares them.
That's wow.
And you know what else? Something else about this. They, I think a lot of the. All right, there are some people out there that genuinely just hate dark colored people for like just racial ideology reasons. And I don't think that's the majority of people in the US necessarily who are like full blown Nazis and just hate them because they're, you know, a darker skin color. But the others who are supporting this, but may not be overtly, openly Nazi, are like learning the talking points and being fear-mongered to by the real Nazis. And so you get people saying like 13% of the population, black people, represent 50% of the crimes, which is, incorrect. It's a twisted up statistic that doesn't represent reality at all, but they use it to scare people into thinking that all black people are dangerous, when in reality, it's a very small minority of people who commit crimes at all, like let alone black people who commit crimes. So they're using these fear-mongering tactics to scare the shit out of people.
That statement, I that one's a big one for me, the whole 13% to 50% thing, because like what that actually indicates is arrests. They are arrested. 50% of violent crime arrests are of black people. Also, what happens to black people more than any other racial group is exonerations. They are exonerated more than any other racial group because stupid racist cops arrest them for no reason, because they believe stupid racist stats like that are taken out of context and don't actually make any sense and are usually twisted as a lie, saying they commit the crime rather than they are arrested for the crime. And so, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's just fear mongering and bullshit that is used to push a narrative that those people, whatever those people are, usually black people, those people are very scary, and we are the only ones that can protect you. And as long as you have that narrative that the nation is under attack, even under attack from within, and your democracy is at stake, your livelihood is at stake, your freedom's at stake, your culture is at stake, your race is at stake, your purity is at stake, you very quickly go down this road into Nazi talk.
I'm gonna put it in real fast. I can hear the. So.
It confuses me very much because no, none of that makes any sense. Like the more diverse our country is, like the better our country is, right? Like it really like it's more fun to have everybody. It's and plus on top of that, economically, we need these people. Like South Korea is about to not be a country like in 40 years because of like because they just don't have the bodies, and they're just going to have a bunch of old people. And so like, the way to fix that, and we're not with them, but we're, so the way to fix that, guess what? Immigration. And your second generation will be as patriotic as you, mother. So, I could talk about that all day. I wanted to ask Owen about his website. I think it's called Archive.
Your mic is still really clippy and loud. Do you have us on speakerphone?
I think I do.
Oh yeah, it's really, really loud for us.
Did you not hear anything I just said?
No, we heard it.
I heard it. It sounded like you were eating cellophane while you said it.
Yeah, let me turn the speaker off. You can probably hear me now.
Okay,
that's way better. Way better.
That'll work. All right. So I think, Owen, your website is called cultarchive.org.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so I went to it, and I think it's super cool and it's super well made. But I wanted to ask you about the aspect of it where you talked about AA, Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah.
I am a person who actually NA is what I go to, but
me
either
too.
Way, yeah, I know, and I know your history with addiction and stuff. I've heard you talk about it before. So like, there's no criticism here, but I did want to. You have a whole section on your website about AA. Mm-hmm. So I sort of wanted to like ask two questions. Is why? Once I read it, I like, oh shit, he's right. But it's like a benevolent cult, I guess. And like, what does that mean? You're like sort of a cult expert, so I don't. It's kind of like a cult not trying to take money from people and not trying to hurt people, and then also like NA doesn't push God nearly as much as AA does. I guess it depends on where you are. But higher power, like they make it very clear that like it's a God of your understanding, and I've been very able to replace like the Christian God with what my higher power is, which is humanity, which is the accomplishments we've made as a species, the things we've done. Like, it's incredible to me. What we as a human species have done. That's my higher power, so I didn't need it to be Christian God or whatever.
The problem for me is I care about results, and secular therapy is it has better results than NA and AA. So I always advocate for secular therapy because we don't need to come up with we don't have to come up with our own God or whatever when we can just do secular therapy. Like, I don't feel the need to try to rationalize that in my head in the first place. The numbers for NA and AA are significantly worse. And it started as a church program and spread through churches, and is now kind of being more mainstreamed and more secularized for the most part, which is why you see a lot of people coming up with good, different gods or whatever that was not acceptable at one point. And a lot of
even when I first went, even when I first went 10 years ago, like 15 years ago, when I was still, I was just fake going to me. I would go to meetings with a pint of vodka in the car, and for me to drink when I got out. It was very like godly, and they very much wanted it to be the Christian God. Like, you could just tell always. It's not, like I said, I go to NA now, but AA, even AA is not like that anymore. As far as I've seen, I can only speak what I've seen.
Another problem is they aren't okay with replacement therapy for things like Suboxone, or there's a medicine people can take to make alcohol very distasteful. And I think that's extremely valuable and important for some people.
Yes, I agree.
But
I agree.
They
I agree
have
100%.
hard rules. They're not like I'm sorry, not American Atheists. Alcoholics Anonymous is not willing to move where the science goes. They have some set strict rules that they will not accept any deviation on, and that is more of a religious undertone than anything. Secular therapy moves where the science moves,
So one of the things that, like, if you actually look at AA, NA, CA, Cocaine Anonymous, as like the politics of them, sort like how they're run politically, they are an anarchy. They're like, they are the political version of the word anarchy. It's a cooperative. It's a horizontal hierarchy, not a vertical hierarchy. So, like, you're right. They like that. The fact that MAT is not allowed, Suboxone and methadone. Here's the thing, though. It is allowed. You can do it and come to meetings and have a sponsor. Some people in those meetings will just be a little frosty towards you, but not really. Like, I've been off Suboxone for a few years, but I've never experienced somebody like screaming and yelling. And like, if you're on replacement therapy, nobody's mean to you. They're just like, well, they might not consider you completely clean, but they're not going to treat you like shit, and they're not going to kick you out.
Well, the way I see it is, when we leave religion behind, we leave a lot of community, and that's really painful and difficult to deal with. And if people find community in America, God, I'm doing it again, in Alcoholics Anonymous or NA or whatever else, then that's fantastic. And I hope that I hope people keep it up, as long as they're aware that there are religious undertones in a lot of the groups, maybe not in yours specifically, maybe not even in the majority of groups anymore, but they're slipping in a lot of ideological underpinnings that I disagree with completely. And
they sure do.
Some of them are outright cult-like. Some groups are outright damaging and destructive. Not all, but it's something you have to be aware of walking into it, because they have a strict set of rules that you have to abide by, and some people take that further than they should. When secular therapy is better, but it doesn't always offer that same kind of community that AA offers, for example.
Right. It's really the fellowship, honestly. Like there's the fellowship, there's your sponsor, there's doing like community work, stuff like that. Like there's branches of what you're supposed to do, and the fellowship, the relationships you make are super important. And I gotta be honest with you, like, people do not preach God to me. I live in a very conservative place in Florida, and I'm not bothered by it when people preach God to me, but like, that's people. And I've been to NA meetings in different parts of the country, and I think you're sort of talking about like maybe some deep South AA meetings, some very traditional ones. So
got to keep in mind too. I actually listed non-cults on there as well, specifically, intentionally. Like, I listed veganism on there because I wanted to provide a juxtaposition between the genuinely deeply dangerous groups and those that have some destructive tendencies, and what the difference is between a decentralized group and a hierarchical group and things like that, So anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll just leave you guys with this. I know you got probably a lot of callers, but like, my favorite thing about this is it is the only example of anarchy politically that I have seen work successfully. And I would be an anarchist if I thought it could work on like a full scale version, but I don't think it could work in America, but it does work in AA and NA. The horizontal hierarchy does work, and it's a lot of people don't understand what anarchy means politically, but like, even in NA and AA, but like, that's one of my favorite things about it. And I'll let you respond, but that's all I got, and I really appreciate you guys. Oh, by the way, Alpha Force Zero, listen, I think you're smart as hell, but she's smarter than you, and she's a superstar.
That could be. I'll let her know.
Thanks, guys.
Right, thanks.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
We got a great. Sorry, go ahead.
Interesting ideas. Like I said, I think there's a lot of ideology built into it. That's all. And you got to be careful when you're dealing with ideology generally. So
Makes sense. We have a great lineup for everybody coming up this week. If you like these shows and you want to see more things like them, then stay tuned, because tonight we've got this, but tomorrow we've got Skeptalk with Aaron Ra and Lawrence Yufa. Then we've got Chewed Gum coming up on the 9th with Alyssa and Taylor. Then on the 10th, we've got The Hang Up with Matt Dillahunty and Brady Goodwin. Then we've got on the 11th, Josie Caballero and Luxander on the Transatlantic Call-In Show. And that brings us all the way back around to the Sunday show next week, the 14th, with Matt and Eve. Promise. Eve was framed, which is still listed as Eve on our schedule here. We've got Promise and Matt back on the Sunday show, and then me and Justin, Deconstruction Zone, on the Sunday show after dark, and then Skeptalk on the 15th with me and Erica. So stay in for a 8-hour stream for that one. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then we've got Alyssa and Taylor again on Chewed Gum, and then Matt's on with Blitz PhD on the Hang Up. And then we got Transatlantic Show and Show with Ben and somebody. We've got 2 weeks of amazing shows scheduled for you right now. So stay tuned for all of them, or don't. I'm not a cop. Are you ready to jump right into the next thing?
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful.
The subject I know a bit about too.
Yep, I think so. I have wonderful news for everybody out there. I know you're excited. Oh, you better stick with it. No, one of the people who said they were going to call in and expose my demonic agenda just called in and they hung up. Well, maybe they called in with a web caller and the screener told them they have to call them with a phone number if they're in the US. That might have happened. But in the meantime, while we're waiting for that, I know you're excited. Let's talk to Andrew from New Jersey, who wants to know what fascism is, which is weird because I'm pretty sure he said he was down with fascism at one point. Let's see what happens. Andrew, how are you today?
I'm fine, Forrest. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm real tired right now. I'm kind of burned out. It's finals time, but I'm having a great day.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. When you talk about fascism, what do you mean by fascism?
What do you think fascism is?
I'm thinking of some sort of like authoritarian like state, I guess.
Yeah, but like, what's the if you could define it for me? Like, what is fascism? Because when I say the word, I mean the definition of the word.
Well, I mean, you want me to look up the definition specifically? That's my opinion of fascism. You know, it's some sort of authoritarian state or something.
So yeah, there are authoritarian states, and that's a thing. But fascism has pretty specific meanings, and there's actually 14 identifiable tenets, which are a pretty popular way to identify. You don't even have to do those though. What I'm saying is, I would call MAGA fascist. I would call Donald Trump a fascist. Okay. I would call the MAGA movement a fascist movement. If you disagree with me on that, then you would need to at least know what fascism is. So I'm curious to know, is that comfortable for you, or are you just genuinely using me as Google right now?
I mean, I guess I can look up the definition real fast to see if that's true. If MAGA is fascist.
Do you think that MAGA is fascist or not? Or would you say you don't know?
Well, I mean, I don't think so. I wouldn't call them fascist because here it says it claims to be far right authoritarian, ideology.
There's one more word in there that's really important.
Centered on extreme nationalism and a strong,
Right.
Yeah, but
so
extreme,
far right.
But can you have any?
We can agree that MAGA is a far right movement, right?
I don't think it's far right.
What is far right to you?
Like you're talking about a white. When I think of far right, I'm thinking of some kind of white nationalist ethno state. But Trump himself is clearly not a far right white nationalist. I mean, he wants to bring in 600,000 Chinese immigrants, which I don't agree with, but that's what he want to do. Trump is he claims to be against because the people on the far right want to remain a white country, but Trump, some of his policies are against that. I mean, he was on the show with Lauren Ingram saying that when she asked him, we got talent here in the U.S., we don't want the mass immigration. He goes, no, there's no talent here. There's nothing here. We need these Chinese people. We need these Indians.
So do you remember? I don't know if you were listening in. a minute ago. Let me just double check who it was. Tweet. It was the Department of Homeland Security, which has now been posting for about a month now, using the word remigration. And I don't know if you were here when I talked about that word, but I actually showed just the Wikipedia article on it. Remigration is a far-right concept of ethnic cleansing, meaning the mass deportation of all non-white people, and especially immigrants. And we see the Supreme Court, we're talking about these ICE raids going on. Supreme Court, a month or two ago, if I remember right, said that it is okay for ICE to racially profile people, judging by the color of their skin, the language they are speaking, or even where they're working. They're allowed to grab people off the street and throw them into concentration camps. And we even have several instances of American citizens being grabbed up these ways.
Yeah, but
so
wait, which American citizen was grabbed up and thrown in a concentration camp?
Let me pull some up for you. U.S. citizen, again, just doing what you should have done in the beginning. We're just Googling for you right now. U.S. citizen detained by ICE. And here we have
just what is his name?
Myriad, a suite of different. Here's from immigration agents have held more than, let me hold on a second, 170 U.S. citizens have been held by immigration agents. They're being kicked, dragged, and detained for days. This is from ProPublica.org. So here we have, just from this one article here, 170 different citizens. The one that I learned about, the one that I made a video about a little while ago, is this guy, George Reitz. He is a U.S. citizen and a combat veteran who is also Hispanic. He's got a skin color that looks a lot like my in-laws. And he, while screaming that he is a U.S. citizen, was dragged away by ICE. He was pepper sprayed, dragged in by ICE, thrown in a detention center for days, denied access to a lawyer, denied an opportunity to call his family. His family didn't know where he was for days. And they didn't allow him to shower, change his clothes, anything, until finally they just threw him back out on the street after making him sign some documents. Probably just saying that he wasn't going to sue.
Well, can I ask this? If a U.S. citizen, for example, because there are instances of U.S. citizens helping harbor illegal aliens. If you have U.S. citizens helping illegal aliens, into the country, or they're in their house or whatever, they're going to detain everybody in the house, even if they're a citizen or not.
So let's talk about that, because there was ICE raid Chicago apartment building. There we go. So here we have the ICE raid in Chicago that happened back in November 14th is when this was. This was an apartment building in Chicago. Here, I'm going to put the PBS article in the chat for everyone who wants to see that. They raided this entire apartment building in the middle of the night in the freezing cold. ICE agents kicked in doors, threw smoke bombs and flashbangs and shit, pulled people out of their bed, handcuffed children, and dragged them outside in the clothes, including a bunch of people who didn't have clothes on, and dragged them outside and detained them for several hours, all in order to identify a couple dozen of people that they said 37 people were arrested. And of those 37 people who were arrested, no criminal charges were filed against them. So you have a whole apartment building full of people, a whole apartment building full of people who are woken up in the middle of the night by masked, armed, unidentified agents kicking in their door and dragging them and their children out of their beds in handcuffs out into the freezing cold to stand for hours with no clothes on. Do you think that is worth it to arrest a handful of illegal immigrants?
Well, that building had Trinidad Ragua Venezuelan gang members in it, so that's why they surrounded the building with helicopters.
Do you think? Okay, same exact question. Do you think it is worth it to zip tie children, snatch them out of their beds, traumatize them, drag them out into the freezing cold with their families, violate their rights, violate their privacy, damage their property, kick in their doors, wake them up in the middle of the night, and drag them out of the house in order to arrest some gang members that any average police agency could have tracked down using normal tactics?
What do you mean the normal police agency? They work with police, right? Like they don't just go in there without.
But that's
they work with police.
That's not what I asked you. But that's not what I asked you.
Yeah,
we have anti-gang units on police. We have counterterrorism units on police. We have incredible police agencies that do incredible work with incredible intelligence and incredible accuracy, or at least they're able to. They don't do it very often, but they're able to do these incredible things. And instead, we raided an entire apartment building and pulled dozens of people. Does it matter? Some of these were toddlers, but it doesn't matter.
Because
the question is it worth it?
Toddlers?
Yes.
So there's a video of ICE agents zip tying toddlers.
Yes, there absolutely is. I have the video.
Can you pull that up?
I was about to pull it up.
Yeah, can you pull it up?
You go ahead.
Pull it up.
Let me see if I can find it.
Not young teenagers like 15, 16.
No,
does it matter at all? No, for real. While Owen is getting that video, Andrew, what's the difference between a U.S. citizen who's a toddler who did nothing wrong and is woken up in the street in the middle of the night, and a teenager who's a U.S. citizen and did nothing wrong and is woken up in the middle of the night and traumatized and dragged down the street? At what point does it become okay for that to happen when they're a teenager? Does it matter at all?
These teenagers,
these are U.S. citizens.
If they're part of these gangs or they're affiliated with these gangs, they're going to detain these teenagers.
They're not. They're just people. And if they were, Andrew, if they were affiliated with a gang, you know who needs to handle it? You know who needs to handle it? Just regular ass police. If they're a member of a gang, you don't traumatize everyone around them in order to get to them. You go after them specifically. They could have gone to that apartment and arrested the people in that one apartment.
Okay, what is the job of ICE?
Domestic terrorism at this moment.
It's not that. Well, the only people that's doing domestic terrorism are the people who are literally trying to shoot and murder ICE agents.
Who's doing that? What examples do you have of people trying to shoot and murder ICE agents?
Yeah, I'll pull up the story. There's a story of people going to ICE facilities, attacking ICE agents, trying to kill ICE agents. One of them tried to kill ICE agents, but he accidentally hit 2 immigrants.
Man, that's really awful. Do you know what should happen in that case? Those people specifically should be tried for their crimes, and then if prosecuted, they should be penalized for their crimes. That is not an excuse to violate the constitutional rights of any random brown person that ICE may happen to come across, which is what is happening right now. You know,
I found that video. If you want to see it, and I can switch over real fast. Give me 1 second.
Throw that on the screen, and then I have different questions.
Okay, can you hear me and also see it?
Yes, we can.
All right, awesome. Here is one of the videos. This is from May when this happened. Literally handcuffing a child.
That kid looks like 7.
Yeah.
That kid's no older than 7.
What's the name of the video?
I don't fucking know, brother. We're literally, this is not the only example of this happening, okay? There are a billion examples. Look it up. Literally type ICE arrests children. Just type that. ICE arrests children and a billion videos. ICE arrests children. What?
This is what's so frustrating is like you continue to call into this show and use us as Google. And it's really annoying, dude. What is the 5th Amendment, Andrew?
The 5th Amendment?
Yep.
Let me see.
Who does the 5th Amendment protect?
The 5th Amendment is supposed to protect citizens.
Wrong.
Oh my God.
Wrong. So let's read the 5th Amendment together, because I've got a copy of the Constitution right here. 5th Amendment. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise serious crime unless on presentment of an indictment of a grand jury. And then he goes on to talk about the military for a minute. Nor shall any person be subject to the same offense subject for the same offense to be twice be put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor be compelled in a criminal case to be witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. nor shall any property be taken without just compensation. So again, the language used again and again there is any person, not any citizen, not any person with the proper paperwork, any person. Who does the 14th Amendment protect, Andrew?
I don't, persons.
Yep. Nor shall, this is from the 14th Amendment, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction equal protection of the laws. Any person,
I understand
not any citizen.
Yeah, I understand all that, but
so the Constitution, the Constitution protects any person in U.S. soil. Any person under U.S. jurisdiction gets equal protection under the law and gets due process. Any person at all.
Yeah, I get that.
So what's happening right now is that some of these people are people. So it doesn't matter what some of these people are doing. They get due process and they get equal protection.
Yeah, of course. Of course, but some of these people, ICE, when they go after some of these people, they have deportation orders. So some
of these people, but not a lot of them.
Yeah.
And let me ask you a question, Andrew. If this is really about illegal immigration, then why is ICE grabbing people at their immigration court hearings when these immigrants are doing it the right way, going to court, and then they get snatched by ICE? Why is that happening, Andrew?
Well, you said they're having a hearing, and so ICE comes and just snatches them up?
At their immigration court hearing, yes. They are in immigration court, going about it the legal way, becoming legal citizens through legal immigration process, and ICE is arresting them at their court hearing. Why, if they're looking for the bad illegal immigrants, are they going to immigrants that are at the court hearing to become citizens? Why is that happening?
Well, they're not just going after the bad immigrants. They're going after the bad immigrants are the primary source. But if somebody, it depends on what the judge says. Like if the judge says, "Hey, you are to be deported,"
that's the problem. No, listen, brother, that's the problem. They're not going in front of a judge. They're not putting them in front of a judge. They're making the decisions before or completely disregarding what the judge says. They go in front of a judge. The judge dismisses the case, which means that they can stay. And ICE officials are waiting outside of the courthouse, regardless of what the judge says, and dragging them back to these concentration camps like Alligator Alcatraz, and then sending them, if they're lucky, sending them to another country where they're actually from, instead of a prison in the middle of nowhere where they've never been.
Okay. If that's happening, then that would be wrong. If that is happening, I don't know the specifics of that, but that would. Okay,
now, I'm going to take
that would be wrong. But
I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to say that's not just happening. That is a majority of the cases where people are completely innocent, don't even have deportation orders. They're not criminals. The majority of people being deported or being detained by ICE have no criminal record whatsoever, and we're just living their lives.
What do you mean? Some immigrants literally admit to some immigrants admit to being illegal when they get caught stealing from Walmart or from Target, and the cops will literally come to them and ask them, "Are you from this country?" Some of them self-deport. Some of them say, "Oh no, I'm from Venezuela."
What percent of current ICE detainees, do you know, Andrew, what percent of current ICE detainees have no criminal records or criminal convictions?
I'm pretty sure most of them don't have criminal records.
That's correct. 74% of people currently in ICE detention are not criminals. They're just people that have been snatched off the street. Almost fucking 75%. Almost 3/4 of the people ICE grabs are just random fucking people living their lives. Maybe they didn't come here legally.
How do you know?
Maybe they overstayed a visa. That is a minor civil offense. That is a fucking parking ticket. That is a tiny little thing that doesn't mean that fucking much. because our immigration system fucking sucks.
Yeah. Okay.
And frankly, a lot of these people are coming from dangerous ass countries where they and their families are at risk. Would you, Andrew, break the law to protect your family?
Not those Somalis. Would I break the law to protect my family?
Yes.
It depends on what it is.
Would you cross the border illegally to protect your family? If you, Andrew, were right now living in the border of Mexico where there's fucking cartels running shit and it's dangerous and horrible and the government is at war with the cartels and you have police that are corrupt and all this, every bit of horrible thing you hear on the news, would you cross the border illegally into America to protect your family?
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm going to run to an agent and tell him, hey, I'm getting shot at. Of course.
And then ICE is going to grab you, throw you in alligator Alcatraz, where Amnesty International just published a report of fucking torture taking place there. And then they deport you to fucking Secot in El Salvador, where you are also tortured to death. Or they send you to some other country like Uganda that you've never fucking been to. Does that sound like justice, Andrew?
Yeah. Wait, Alcatraz is open?
Alligator Alcatraz in Florida.
Oh, no. Well, if they throw me into some kind of torture camp, then no, that's not right.
Well, that's happening.
Amnesty International. Yes, Amnesty International just published a report.
That one.
There is torture taking place there.
I understand that they were putting They were putting people in 2x2 cages, from my understanding. You're going to want to look that up. 2x2 cages.
Yeah.
So you don't support
that would be right, that's wrong. Well, we can all agree that like those Somalians with temporary protection status that's committing all that fraud, they need to be got.
So
I don't care.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
You're good.
I was just going to say, I don't care, Andrew, if you can point to 5, 10, 100, 1,000 people that are really, really bad guys that did some really, really bad crimes and they were super duper illegal. You know what should happen to those people? They should get due process and they should be deported if a court finds that necessary. They should not be rounded up off the street for their skin color, thrown into a concentration torture camp, and then we just see what happens to them just in case they might be bad.
Yeah, but there is no amount if the judge says, hey.
There is no amount of people that you can say should be deported that would justify the way that we are currently handling things. Absolutely none.
No, we can. Yeah, no, I agree. We can improve on the. I mean, if ICE is snatching up American citizens, yeah, we should fix that. Those agents should be criminally prosecuted.
Okay, now hang on. Let me just.
But we should be deporting these Somalians who are committing all this fraud. We should be deporting them guys.
Since you take that position now, let me tell you that this is not a bug, it's a feature. According to Donald Trump, This is part of the plan. It's not rogue ICE agents. This is what they want. And you can see that on the DHS Twitter account alone. So now that we know that, it is a feature, not a bug. Hang on. Now that we know that it is a feature, not a bug, unequivocally, do you denounce Donald Trump and agree to no longer support him and regret voting for him now that you know that?
No. What's the policy?
Did you hear literally anything that I just said?
Yeah, I don't believe that I don't believe that it's a deliberate.
Did you hear what we said?
I don't believe
like 10 minutes ago about the DHS Twitter account posting about.
Read the policy.
Oh my God! So you don't think that this is deliberate when the DHS Twitter account is tweeting out literal Nazi things, like actual Nazi things about?
I don't know what it's tweeting. You won't read it. You're just saying that they're doing that.
We read it.
They have some kind of Nazi.
We did read it to you. We did read it to you, and we also talked about it. We also talked about it for 5 minutes before you called in. I don't know if you were listening to that or not. Here's the thing, dude. Is you asked us what is fascism, and that was the beginning of this call, right? And fascism is more than just the fucking violent suppression of opposition, right? That's a big part of it.
Yeah, of course.
But like what we see with fascism, here's the 14 tenets of fascism. Number one is a powerful, often exclusionary populist nationalism centered on a cult of redemptive, infallible leader who never admits mistakes. That is wall to wall a description of Trump. It is undeniable that that is a description of Donald Trump, a redemptive, infallible leader who never admits his mistakes, with this fucking cult centered around him, with a populist and exclusionary ideology. That is the MAGA movement. Number two is political power derived from questioning reality, endorsing myth and rage, and promoting lies. We have now so many fucking crony puppets in this cabinet. From RFK Jr. saying that Tylenol causes autism and putting fucking a bunch of anti-vaxxers in the CDC and dismantling vaccine advisory boards and promoting these bullshit lies that Joe Biden stole the election and all this stuff. Things that are repeatedly debunked, where they lose in court with their own judges and they keep pushing it over and over. Plus this myth of make America great again, harking back to a distant age of America that doesn't fucking exist, that everything was beautiful and golden. That is absolutely Nazi ideology. Here we also have number three, fixation with national. You don't think that's Nazi talk?
Well, I disagree with number two. When people say "Make America Great Again," they're talking about having being able to take care of a family on one income, and
so you mean like increasing? So you mean like increasing the minimum wage, which is a Democrat talking point?
No, I'm just telling you what MAGA means.
MAGA means increasing the minimum wage? That's news to me, and I think every MAGA person.
No, MAGA means. No, MAGA means it just means return back to traditional family values. That's all it means. When a country like in the 50s, that's what it means. It doesn't mean any
a country in the 50s where we had segregation.
No, obviously not with the segregation.
When was America great, Andrew? When was America great?
When you can live on one income, like back then. When you can live on take care of a family on one income.
So you think that America was great?
That's what they mean by
So back in in boomer times, when we had a better economy and also major civil rights failures, that's when we were great.
Yeah, obviously without this. No, not obviously. I'm not talking about the civil rights and the
So then
civil
why
rights
isn't why isn't Donald Trump's slogan? Why isn't Donald Trump's slogan raise the minimum wage, make a living wage again, make houses affordable again? Why is it make America great? And then it's harkening back to these times where white supremacy was a lot more prominent. That's when we were great.
Well, raising the minimum wage, I don't know about the raising of the minimum wage. I think Trump just wants people to Trump wants people to have high wages, but a lot of employers, if you raise the minimum wage, they're going to hire more skilled people. They're not going to hire like young people or people with no skills.
You know what's funny? That's similar talking point to when they established the minimum wage in the first place. And you know what happened? Not that. Turns out people could just afford houses.
No.
And food.
I'm sorry?
Let's keep moving. Here's number 4. White replacement theory, used to show that democratic ideals of freedom and equality are a threat. Isn't that exactly what ICE is? All these immigrants are coming in and poisoning the blood of America. That's a Nazi language talking point that Donald Trump literally said verbatim. They are poisoning the blood of America. And that's why we need to round up everybody who isn't white and kick them out, which is the concept of remigration, which is what the Department of Homeland Security has been tweeting out regularly. And also the Supreme Court said it's okay and also the Supreme Court said it's okay to round people up based on skin color. And also, we let in a bunch of white South Africans. So, okay, we're okay with immigration then when they're white people.
No, I don't. Me personally, I don't want mass migration. Period. I don't care where they come from. If they're coming from Europe, if they was coming from Europe in mass, I wouldn't want that.
That's stupid, but who cares? Here's number 8. This is a fun one. Rampant sexism. Do you think maybe the president grab him by the pussy might be an example of rampant sexism in American politics?
I don't think that's just Trump being a pervert. I don't think that's sexism.
You think that it's okay to vote for a pervert?
I mean, no, it's not okay to vote for a pervert, but I mean, what?
Why'd you do it?
Biden was a pervert. Trump was a pervert.
Oh, whose pussy did Biden grab? Whose pussy did Biden grab?
No, Biden just
and brag about it.
He didn't grab nobody. Well, he didn't grab nobody's vagina, but he was still doing weird stuff, like sniffing some little kid back, rubbing some little girl's shoulder on video. It looked weird.
Oh man. Dude. Oh man, that sucks. I wonder if his name is all over the fucking Epstein files and he sent Jeffrey Epstein like birthday cards talking about their wonderful secret and shit.
I don't know, probably. I mean, like,
because we know Trump did all that. Because we know Trump did all that. And you know what? If Joe Biden did any of that shit, if Joe Biden, yeah, Trump was a pervert, which is why he fucking was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. And Jeffrey Epstein also said that Trump was the worst person he'd ever met.
Well, yeah, I mean, Jeffrey Epstein was also wanted to, take down Trump. So, I mean, they both scumbags. So, I mean, I guess.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. You're right. This pedophile, we shouldn't trust him because he really wanted to take down Trump, who is also a fucking pedophile.
Yeah, so it's been 30
minutes.
Trump is a pedophile. I'm sorry, Trump is a creep. Is that what you were saying? Trump is a scumbag? That's what it sounded like you said just now. I feel like you keep disavowing positions and facts and things that really happen, but I can't get you to concede a single damn thing. You keep saying, well, I wouldn't support that if that happened. Well, brother, that happened, okay? This shit is happening.
I conceded multiple stuff. You just literally... I conceded like 3 things. You just said, is it illegal for them to? I mean, is it wrong for them to deport American citizens? I said no. I said no. That's wrong. If that's happening, that's wrong.
You still
conceded a bunch of stuff.
But you still support
y'all won't concede nothing to me.
But because you haven't said anything intelligent yet, and the fact is, yes, because you haven't said anything worth conceding. What you keep doing, Andrew, is you keep saying, "Hey, yeah, that's really bad," and then you keep supporting it. Trump is a rapist. And you still support him.
Trump is a rapist. How come he's not in prison?
Oh my fucking God! He was found guilty. He was found civilly liable of sexually assaulting and abusing E. Jean Carroll.
Why is she pursued criminally?
Because it was past the statute of limitations for that. And that isn't the only time he was in court for that shit. Because fucking rape is a complicated thing, Andrew.
Yeah,
the fact of the matter is, a jury found him guilty.
Yeah, it's funny how Trump and that other chick, Blasey Ford, when she tried to take him down when he was running for Supreme Court nominee, it's funny how all these women come out of nowhere trying to destroy you when you're running for something. It's very weird.
No, it's not weird at all. They were fucking traumatized and probably had a long time of processing and dealing with that before they were comfortable enough to even talk about it at all. And then they saw that monster gaining a tremendous amount of political power over other people, especially other women. And so they found the courage to speak out when it mattered the most. They're incredibly brave people who went through a horrific experience at the hands of your president that you still support. Whether or not you think it's convenient politically for them to do it, no. I mean, insofar as you can say they didn't want this person elected because he's a fucking monster, sure. But even if it was purely political, he's still a fucking rapist.
Yeah, so it was a political witch hunt. You literally just said that they saw him gaining power and influence, so they decided to come out and try and bring him down. It's literally a political witch hunt.
Oh my God, dude.
Is that let's just use your narrative for a second here, Andrew. Is that wrong? If you see a rapist running for office, is it wrong to step up and be like, hey, guys, this guy's a fucking rapist, don't elect him? Or is that it's too political at that moment? You just need to let it happen. What do you think, Andrew?
No, I think it's wrong to wait 35 years to come out and say this man.
And I think that you're an insensitive piece of shit who doesn't understand what rape is.
Rape apologist is word. Rape apologist is the word you're looking for there, Forrest.
This is why you're a fucking incel,
I'm not a rape
Andrew.
Apologist. I'm not a rape apologist. I'm just saying it makes no sense.
Andrew, did you vote for Donald Trump?
I did vote for Trump, yes.
Then you voted for a fucking rapist, and now you're here on the internet in front of tens of thousands of people defending a fucking rapist.
Did you vote for Biden?
I sure as hell did, because he's not a rapist.
No, he's just a pedophile and weird.
You have some images of him. You have some images of him comforting a child at a funeral and some other things you think might be kind of weird with him. Meanwhile, you've got Donald Trump sending birthday cards. Shut the fuck up, Andrew. Meanwhile, you've got Donald Trump sending birthday cards to a fucking sex trafficker. You have said this motherfucker in his emails with Jeffrey Epstein saying he's the worst person he's ever met. You're telling me that Biden is maybe he is. I don't give a fuck. I didn't have any reason to believe Biden was a pedophile when I voted for him. If he is, fuck him. Put him in the same fucking cell with Trump, along with Bill Clinton and anybody else. I don't care who's in there. Anybody who smelled that motherfucker walking by should be in the same fucking cell, rotting till the end of time. You are defending and voting for the rapist pedophile in power. Don't act like we're the fucking same here, dude.
When I voted for him in 2016, I didn't know who Jeffrey Epstein was.
Would you vote for him again? Would you vote for him now?
No.
You wouldn't vote Trump?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
And why not?
We made progress.
And why not?
Well, there's several reasons. One, he's a pervert. Two, he's for mass immigration.
Oh, please.
He's for mass immigration. He's for mass immigration, everybody. The guy who's running ICE. The guy who just funded ICE more than fucking most militaries for most countries. Bullshit.
Yeah, bringing in 600,000 Chinese migrants is not what we wanted. That's not why we voted for him.
It is better. Yes, you voted for white supremacy. I know. And it's really hard that he's helping these fucking Chinese people out. Shame on him. Andrew, the whole point of this call at the beginning was what is fascism? Look in the fucking mirror, dude. I think you'll understand it pretty quickly. Quit using this fucking show like Google. Go learn a thing. And this right here is why everyone in the audience fucking groans when you call in. I do think we're making progress, but it is pulling fucking hen's teeth because you are so up your own ass that you refuse to fucking see the sunlight. I'm done with this call. Owen, are you into it anymore?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. Get fucked, Andrew.
Okay.
Fucking gross.
My God, dude.
Every
That was
time.
wild.
It's every time. And I really do think we're making progress, but every time it's fucking gross. Why'd they wait so long? Ooh.
He's straight up rape apologists. This is what he's doing.
Absolutely.
Just rape apologists.
Hey, can I burn through a call really quick? Are you cool with that?
Sure. Yep.
Okay, this is going to be very quick. This is selfish of me, so if you're cool with that.
That's right. You're good. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, cool. Hey, Stevie from Texas, who just called in a second ago. What did you eat? What was the last thing you ate today? Hello? Stevie from Texas, you're on the line. Are you there? Hello? Giving you 10 seconds left. 7, 6, Stevie from Texas, waiting for you. 3, 2, 1, and that was your chance. All right, got through that call pretty quick. Great. let's talk to somebody more fun.
Okay.
I've got one person on the line here. Line number 21 is going to be somebody who said they were going to call into me, but they've got a couple people ahead of them. So hang on, Arlen. We'll get to you soon. In the meantime, do you want to take 16 or 17? Or do you see a different one?
Yeah, we can hit 17, I guess.
Sweet, let's do it. This one might be up more your alley anyway. Let's talk to Patrick. Calling in from Nimble Yaks, who wants to know about the purpose of life. Patrick, you are on the line with Forrest and Owen. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Doing well.
Man, as long as you're not about to call in and complain about rape victims taking too long to prosecute and shit like that, we'll have a great time.
So, do you think the purpose of life is like about survival and reproduction?
No.
I mean, like, we make our own purpose to our own lives. I don't think there is a quote unquote purpose to life. I guess some people's purpose is reproduction, but yeah, we just we make our own thing up. So
yeah, I don't believe in purpose, so just whatevs.
Yeah,
not as an objective thing anyway.
Right.
Well, I guess you don't believe like a God created us for like an intended purpose, but you probably think that you have to do things to add purpose to your lives, right? You can still add purpose to it.
If you want. You don't have to.
Well, doesn't life feel better when there's meaning to it?
When you talk about life, are you talking about like individual human lives, or are you talking about life in general?
Well, I guess like human lives.
Yeah, no, I disagree, but in different ways. Talking about life in general, there's absolutely no such thing as purpose. But if you're talking about individual human lives, it really is just up to you. That's exactly what Owen said.
Yeah.
Make a purpose if you want. Don't if you don't.
All right.
Does that answer the question? Does that make sense? Do you have another question for us?
Well, I think most people want to, grow up to work and have kids and get married and stuff, and that could probably give someone a purpose without a God.
Sure, yeah. All kinds of things.
Yeah, sure. I'm not having kids. Owen is having kids. And so like very different, right? My purpose is absolutely not to reproduce. I'm not into that whatsoever.
Well, I guess not everyone has
fun,
to have kids, but
nobody has to have kids.
Well, people like we still need like a lot of the population to have kids in order to keep mankind going, right?
Nope. That's nobody's responsibility. If you want to keep the species going, then yeah, you would need, enough children to meet replacement and all that stuff, but nobody has to do that. That's totally up to individuals if they want to, and if the whole species goes extinct because everyone's just like, you know what, I'm done with this kid shit, then that's how it is. And I'm very okay with that because the freedom to choose not to have children is great.
All right.
Surprised, though. I didn't know that you weren't going to have kids for us. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, fuck that. Fuck all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had one when I was 18. Yeah, thanks. I had one when I was 18.
Oh.
So, my kid is now the age that I was when she was born, almost. So, pretty crazy.
Ugh. Nightmare.
Yeah. Anyway, any other questions for us?
I have no intent on reproducing. That sounds awful. Because kids are they're terrible things. They're terrible things.
Hard.
In general. I don't like to think about the fact that I don't even know if I was one. I don't know. People tell me I was born, but I don't remember it. I don't think, maybe I wasn't around at the time is what happened. Maybe it happened while I was away and then I came. But
that could be.
Yeah, fuck
Well,
all
why
that.
do you think that children are terrible things?
Oh my god, have you ever met one? They're a nightmare. They're just fucking. They cry and they poop and they've got jam. Where do they even get the jam? But they got jam on them somewhere, and they're gross, stinky, worthless things that just take up space and cry. Take a shower and get a job is what I'm saying to all babies. Just get a job and fucking
Bring back
contribute.
child labor right now.
Yes. The children yearn for the minds, Patrick. And that's what we got to do. We got to send them on back. No, the reality is that I've only got this one life. I don't believe in an afterlife. There's nothing else after this. And frankly, like every single day is new and wonderful and magical, and not a single one of my days is guaranteed. I could die right now from a brain aneurysm. I don't know what's going to happen next. So knowing that I only have this one life and knowing that I've got a lot of shit that I want to do, I'm not wasting any of that time on some asshole that I've never even met yet. You know what I mean? Like I got me and I got my wife. I like her a lot. And so she's the only person I'm sharing my time with. Everybody else can get all the way fucked. And I'm absolutely not going to contribute like all of my stress, time, money, energy, hope, all of that, pour it into somebody that I've never even met. And I have to wipe their ass. No, thank you. That sounds like a nightmare.
That makes sense. Mm-hmm. Anything else for us?
Patrick is currently in a concert hall. What is happening?
Unless you have an objection, I'm ready to move on.
Yeah, Patrick, I don't know what's happening to you, but it's horrible for us. It sounds like you're being screamed at by a supermarket loudspeaker.
All right.
Did we answer your question? Do you have anything else for us before we move on?
Yeah, I want to know what you think about capitalism.
Not a fan.
Do you think communism is better than capitalism?
Yes.
I don't. Oh, interesting.
I'm a socialist. I'm not a communist, but like I would take communism over capitalism in the end.
Maybe I would too. I'd have to think about it.
Yeah, I think I might be making a hasty generalization, but it's certainly closer to socialism, and arguably, like I'm a social anarchist, so I tie socialism into anarchism, which is essentially communism anyway. You know, Jovan Bradley and I have had some interesting conversations about it, where the parts that we disagree are pretty minuscule, and he is a communist. So, like, I would prefer it, but I would, it's just kind of whatever. Yeah, I'm a socialist, Patrick. I don't know. Are you? What are you at, Owen?
I don't use the label because it kind of throws up red flags for people. But I think you would probably place me there. I think we're probably right there.
I used to be the exact same. I used to say the exact same thing. Yeah, so I get where you're coming from entirely. Yeah. So Patrick, you've got at least 1.5 socialists on the call here with you. So no, not a fan of capitalism.
Yeah. Do you think capitalism has something to do with social Darwinism?
They're definitely related. I don't think they necessarily have anything to do with each other as like a concept, but like social Darwinist concepts definitely do fall in line with capitalist concepts better than any other. Social Darwinism is pseudoscience. It's bullshit. And capitalism is inherently antithetical to freedom. And so they definitely do line up.
All right.
But you could say that about most things. You could twist most things to fit most things.
Yeah. What do you think of eugenics?
Also not a fan, because it is also, just like social Darwinism, it is pseudoscientific bullshit that is just a complete stretching of what evolution is and how population genetics works.
And to
where are we going with this? You just go ahead. You go ahead, Owen.
All right, I'll go. To give a different answer slightly about eugenics. Eugenics, the problem with eugenics, I think, is taking people's freedoms away over anything else, because I imagine there are some scenarios where you would intentionally set out to not have children with certain people. Like there's that that disease that runs in Jewish bloodlines, I think, where if you have children, yes, that's the one, is really dangerous. And people choose not to get married to each other all the time if that is a possible issue. And one could say that that's eugenics in a sense, but it's a choice that they're making of their own free will. And I think the problem is taking away people's free will, right? Or anything else.
Yeah, there is that argument where it's like, well, if you found out that you're, if you were pregnant and you found out your baby was profoundly disabled and you have an abortion, that's eugenics-esque, or things like, or you choose not to have children in the first place because you carry a disease or whatever like that. And yeah, you can make that argument, that's fine. But I think that is the biggest key that you just hit the nail on the head on, is that when we actually talk about eugenics as a thing, it is about like making a huge change to society so that this is not allowed. And that's fucking stupid. Hey, Patrick, where are we going with this? You're just kind of asking us, like, do we agree or disagree with random things? Is there a point you're trying to get to here, or are you just calling the chat?
Yeah, well, I have been thinking about something. Like, if you set up a system where everyone who's born or allowed to be born is capable of being successful, that would be like intelligent design, right? Because you're making sure that everyone who's living or allowed to live is capable of being successful and leading a good life on Earth.
I mean, I guess, but like you can also do that backwards and say, rather than making sure people who are allowed to be born are successful, you can just change your society so that anybody who is born, no matter what, has a better chance of being successful. That's the whole point of equity. So like, I'm not going to say like, oh, someone with dwarfism is less likely to be successful, so we're not going to allow this person to be born or whatever like that. I'm just going to install like some, footstools and shit in the bathroom. I'm going to make sure that there are lower handles on doors. I'm going to make sure that these people have the accessibility tools they need. Blind people. Oh, this baby was born blind. It can't be successful. I'm just going to make sure there's Braille in school. I'm just going to make sure that there's, apps to your phone that'll read to you. I'm going to make sure there are guide strips in public places that they can feel their way down the street with. Like, there are ways to just improve society so that everyone can be successful, rather than saying we won't allow you into society if you can't be successful.
All right.
Anyway, hope that helps, Patrick. This has been weird, but I think it's been productive.
All right, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, take care, Patrick. Bye-bye.
And also, I noticed, I know we don't take like super chats, but I've seen a lot of people sending them, and I really appreciate that. Somebody said they were just going to sit there, watch my beautiful face while you talked to Andrew, I think, maybe. Thank you. Emily Sigmund, I think she's a fan, comes to my streams a lot.
Hell yeah.
Also, Don Owen, cheers to everyone here, especially the SA survivors. Yeah, 100%. Thank you for the super chat, and I totally agree. Thank you, everybody, for those super chats.
Yeah, fuck Andrew for that. That was fucking gross. And sorry to any fucking survivors out there that had to listen to that, but I hope that we did an okay job. Good thing it was two dudes talking to another dude about it. That's really what makes it a good conversation. Oh, fuck. Okay. I've been talking a lot. I feel like I want to keep passing it back to you as much as I can. Like, do you have a different call you want to talk to?
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, no, I think we've been doing just fine. And we can hit, was it 6? It was 16, right? That we were going to hit. We can bring in 16 if you want.
Sure, let's bring in 16. And then number 21 is the one that is calling specifically to gripe at me. So I'll take that person next if that's cool with you.
Yeah, we can take them first if you
wanted. They can wait because this person's been waiting for almost an hour. So let's take this person next. Let's talk to Brandon. Calling in from Octagonal Ringworm. Neat. Who wants to talk about what made humanity? Brandon, you were on the line with Forrest and Owen. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Going well.
All right. Going well.
What do you got?
What's going on?
Oh, I took notes, I guess.
You took notes. Okay. Well, what do you got for us?
Hell yeah.
About urban decline in states where Democratic governors are voted in.
Urban decline.
What's urban decline?
Okay. Yeah. What is that?
It's an uptake in homelessness, drug addiction, crime, sexual assault.
Okay. And so what about it?
Well, when you vote Democrat, it shows that states that vote Democrat have higher rates of sexual assault, homelessness, drug addiction, and crime.
So, a couple things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you go first. You go first.
Okay. You realize that any kind of shock or difference that happens in a system is going to cause some temporary problems, right? Like if we bring in a bunch of immigrants, or if there's a big flood of refugees or something, there's going to be a bit of a shock to the system. We're going to struggle housing them. We're going to, be understaffed with like police and everything else. But as the system adjusts to that and gets used to like the new figures, having more people in a system benefits that system dramatically. You realize that, right? Like our economy gets incredibly powerful, like way stronger as a result of having more people come in as things start to equalize and even out. So urban decline, I think is what you called it. That happens temporarily when there are shocks to systems, but things equalize and even out and get even more powerful, which is why blue states are subsidizing red states, which is why red states couldn't survive without blue states, because the blue states are powerhouses with the number of people that they have there, with the amount of with the human resources that they have. And in addition to that, red states are more dangerous per capita in a lot of cases than blue states are. So yeah, I don't know what your argument is here, but it sounds like nonsense.
Yeah.
Well, you
I
said
also want to
something
throw out
that sounds like nonsense.
I also just want to throw out there really quickly. I've got here the list of U.S. states organized by violent crime, the ones that are the most dangerous. And top 5: Alaska, New Mexico, Tennessee, Arkansas, Louisiana. Those are all red states. Then you've got California and Colorado. Those are blue. That's 6 and 7. And then you've got Missouri, Kansas, and South Carolina for the last 3. So 7 out of 10 of the top most violent states, and all of the top 5 are not blue states, Brandon.
I said sexual assault, homelessness, drug addiction, and crime overall.
Did you just completely ignore everything we said?
I was gonna say. Well, you said assault and crime, and I just gave you the violent crime statistics.
Urban decline. It shouldn't be something that you have to get used to, like you said.
I didn't say you have to get used to it. I said that when there's a shock to the system. I said that people have to get used to. Listen, I said there's a shock to the system, and when the system starts to equalize, that shock goes away. The police have better budgets because there are more taxpayers, and things start to even out. I didn't say people get used to that crime. I said that crime goes away as the system adjusts to that number of people.
I also just organized this list for rape specifically, because what I gave you were violent crime statistics. I just organized this list for rape. The top 10 states for rape: Alaska, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Montana, Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, Michigan, New Mexico, Nevada. So 9 out of 10. So we went from 7 out of 10 to 9 out of 10 that are red states for rape specifically.
It's getting worse.
California is number 1. So with drugs,
for rape, that's not what
and
That's not what the
overall.
FBI.
Homelessness,
That's not
drug
what the
addiction,
FBI data table for 2024 says.
To actually have urban decline.
Right,
California
Brandon, where are you
overall.
pulling that from? Where are you pulling that from?
And source you are, bud.
You're pulling it from the same. So the FBI is where you're pulling that from.
So overall, with these urban declines, you see Donald Trump coming in and bringing in ICE
was a question.
DEA and FBI and targeting
Brandon, where are you getting those numbers from? Is what I asked you.
Targeting the 1% of these convicted criminals has brought down over 97% of total overall crime in these states.
It's
Illinois.
Yes. Brandon,
hang on.
Where besides your ass are we getting these numbers from?
Illinois, Washington, D.C., Oregon.
Brandon, I'm going to ask you one more time. Where are you getting these numbers from? And if you don't answer, I'm just going to move on to a caller who's serious. Where are you getting these numbers from?
Oh, just Google it. Go for it.
Okay, so you don't know yet. So nowhere. You don't have a source. You just fucking just decided that this is true. Here's the thing, dude. Google itself is not a source. No. You can use Google to find sources.
Hey,
you can use Google to find sources, but if you use Google by itself, you're going to get an AI overview, which is bullshit.
What's an AI overview?
The top thing on Google that's wrong a lot.
That was, hang on, there was 700 pounds of meth that was found in
Look, I'm not going to let you sit here and propagandize and lie with absolutely no sources, so I'm going to mute you, and every time you try to spout off random nonsense with absolutely no source, I'm going to mute you again. And I'm going to take just a second to debunk all of the stupid bullshit that you keep spewing. Forrest just pulled up an actual source. He said, oh, just Google it. He did. He Googled it. He came up with a real
FBI data table.
Real source with real information that completely contradicts the fake information that you just provided us. Now, I know we're asking you for a source, but the fact is you don't have a source, and that's the point that we're trying to draw out. Okay, now I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead.
Are you there?
Back with us. Yep.
Did you hear what I said at all?
No, I didn't, because I'm not going to listen to you propagandize. Give us a specific source from a specific website that's trustworthy when you cite information, or I'm just going to mute you again.
Mine is from the FBI Crime Data Explorer.
What specific question did you need a source for?
Let's start with the fact you said that let's start with California has the highest rates of rape and all these things. Let's start with that one.
No, it was sexual assault.
There is no source for that.
That was CNN.
Okay, what on CNN?
And Fox
CNN's
News.
A big place.
And Fox News. It was on Fox News too. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
I'm not surprised it's on Fox News because Fox News isn't a credible source. So, like, what on CNN said this?
Something I could send a link to? I can show you my.
No,
source.
you can just tell me the name of the article.
It's foxnews.com.
I'm not going to look up Fox News. What is the CNN article?
No, it's on Fox News. There's 144 cases in 2 months.
So that's what it is. So you used a heavily biased source that is known for making shit up and is credited as an entertainment company, not a news company, that has won lawsuits by saying no reasonable person would take them seriously, and that's why they're not spreading false information. That's who you're using as a source. That's why you believe the silly shit that you do, Brandon. You're not actually looking for real credible sources for things.
No, that's an actual credible source.
No.
I didn't consider Sorry. That's my bad.
No, you're wrong.
CNN is also biased, but they aren't as bad. And I would have taken them to find a credible source. Gone from that to find an actual primary source. I pulled up crime statistics from the government.
overall public safety has increased in the states where
Who's saying this?
And
Who's saying
Fox
this?
News.
Is it Fox News? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
bullshit, dude.
No,
It's
it can't
bullshit.
be, man. It's right here.
It can't be. It can't. Oh, somebody wrote it down? A person wrote a thing? That means it's true. Wow. No one's ever written anything as false before. And we've never had a news organization that functions as an arm of a political party before. Neato bandito. We all learned a thing.
What source are we trying to go off of then? Because I'll find something.
Okay. A credible one. A credible one.
What's a
and when you
credible
find one, maybe you know what? I encourage you to just Google what is a credible source. Start there.
I'll give you,
and then find. Go ahead, Owen.
I was going to say I can give you a few. It's really good to have some kind of media literacy, which is obviously something that's very challenging for a lot of people. But
not naming any names here.
No, not naming any names.
No.
But AP News, Reuters, those are pretty good. CNN is okay. A lot of the time, it depends. It's kind of hit or miss. Fox News is completely out. You cannot trust a word out of Fox News's mouth or OAN or Newsmax, or any of the other.
Can you see the screen? Can you see the screen, Brandon?
Yeah.
Okay. So here on the screen, give me 1 second. I'm going to pull this out so that way I don't dox anybody. Give me 1 second there. Okay. So here on the screen, this is from Stony Brook University. This is a media bias chart. You can very easily Google media bias chart and find this one right here. This is the 2024 edition. And here on the y-axis, we've got news value and reliability, whether they're reporting facts or they're just making shit up. And then over here on the x-axis, we've got what their bias is. Is it left bias or right bias or generally unbiased? And so up here at the top, you can see the things you can trust as good sources. Pew Research Center, there's ABC, there's the BBC, there's CNBC on there, there's NPR on there. All these little cluster up here, that's great. Over here on the left, you can see CNN. It's got a little bit of a left bias, and it's a little less credible than something like NPR, right? So that shows you that. And then if you look over here, Fox News, way far to the right, very heavily right-lean biased. And way down here on the news analysis and wide variation and reliability. So not even close in terms of how comparable these guys are. These guys are not a good news source. They're way down here. And with the other ones that he was talking about, things like Turning Point USA, OANN, things like that, those are going to be way down here in the bullshit zone. So try to find something up here in the very top. PBS, ABC, BBC, Associated Press. Did I say what?
Did you say AP News?
AP.
Yes, Associated Press. AP. That's a good one.
That's a good one, right? Oh, well, I found something that states what I'm stating. In California, Illinois, New York. Also Texas and Florida.
Tell me the name of the article.
Democrats' Crisis of the Future.
Democrats' Crisis of the Future. Let's look at that. I got AP News, Democrats' Crisis of the Future.
While you pull that out, I can't help but point out that this is motivated. Like you are. What is it? There's a term for this where you're motivated and what you're looking for. Yeah, maybe that's
selection bias. Yeah.
No.
So I just Googled AP News, Democrats' Crisis of the Future, and I am not finding that article. Are you sure that it's from AP News?
Yeah, APnews.com, Democrats' Crisis of the Future, the biggest states that back them are shrinking.
Biggest states shrinking. Let's look that up and see. Democrats are threatened by shrinking blue states? Is that what you're saying?
It's an AP News article?
Found it. I've got AP News, Democrats' Crisis of the Future, the biggest states that back them are shrinking. Give me 2 seconds here. Let me pull this back up. And we will go through this together. Pull up left screen there. Fuck off.
I mean, this was at the beginning of the year, so this is before we actually had this full term, but it's okay.
So, Texas and Florida are growing rapidly. California, Illinois, and New York are shrinking. With America's population shifting to the south, political influence is seeping from reliably Democratic states to areas controlled by Republicans, coming out of presidential election, blah, 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 blah. Current trends, all this. Democrats have won. Let's look up really quickly. Just look up, you said urban. So urban decline isn't in this article.
So this is just a democratic way, a blue way of stating that there's more homelessness, there's more crime, there's more bullshit going on.
That's not what this is saying.
So when you start going into these other
article is saying,
news networks,
this article is saying that people are moving to the south. This article is saying people are moving to the south, and that's going to have an impact on elections. I'm going to look up.
Because of urban decline.
The word homeless is not in this.
Drugs.
The word crime is not in this.
Sexual assault.
Either is urban decline is also not in there, right?
Yes. So, no, it is not. So, this is an article saying people are moving to the south.
Are the top states, so.
Where are you getting that from?
It is from 9+ news networks. We got the Liberal Patriot, Newsweek, AP News, Newsweek again, E8,
Wait, AP
Los
News.
Angeles Daily,
AP News.
Forbes,
Tell us the AP News.
It's all over YouTube. Forbes again,
The AP
urban
News
conditions.
Tell us what the name of the article is.
What is the article name that you're getting? It's crazy. So what you've given us, Brandon, is an article that doesn't say what you're saying. So where are we getting the information that you're actually saying?
Or I just told you.
What article? What is the name of the article?
I just told you one.
Tell me again, because clearly I didn't hear it.
All
I've got is the AP News, Democrats' Crisis in the Future.
Yeah, you still haven't elaborated on that one.
We just read it. We just read it, Brandon.
Americans are leaving Democratic states.
Brandon, were you here for the conversation? We just went through that article. All it says, Brandon, all that article says, I'm going to mute you because you don't know how to shut the fuck up and listen. Brandon, all that article says is that people are moving from blue states to red states. It doesn't say anything about crime. It doesn't say anything about rape. It doesn't say anything about urban decline. It doesn't say anything about homelessness. It doesn't say any of the things you're saying. You are extrapolating from the article stuff that isn't there. You are making things up. So where are you getting the information that this is because of crime and homelessness? I'm going to bring you back on now. Give me a source for that.
A real one.
Well, I gave you 4. There was Newsweek.
No, you didn't.
CBS. News.
Those are just organizations. What is the article?
The Atlantic. Brookings.
What is the article? What is the article? What is the article?
Which one? I gave you 5.
You haven't given me... Brandon, do you know the difference between a news organization and a news article?
Oh, yeah. No, I gave you 5 of them.
Do you know the difference between a news organization and a news article?
The Atlantic, the Democrats are commuting party side.
He doesn't know the difference.
He doesn't.
He
doesn't know the difference. PBS, he just knows the words.
Democrats, crisis,
Brandon, I'm just going to summarize. He's still talking. Newsweek. Jesus of Christ land, dude. I'm just going to summarize what's happened here is that you called in. I've got him on mute again. Brandon, you called in and made some claims. And when we asked you about it, you said, just Google it. Then you said it's on Fox News, so it's true. And now you're showing that you don't know the difference between the name of a news organization and an actual article with information in it. So I don't know what we're doing. It makes sense why you believe the shit that you believe, because somebody said words to you and then you just decided that was true. But I encourage you to learn how thinking works. It's a lot of fun, and you'll change some lives. Let me tell you. Owen, I'm going to put my fist through this screen. Do you want to continue with Brandon?
Yeah, I can. I just have one more question.
Hell yeah,
Brandon. and then we can move on because he's obviously just got gummy bears in his ears.
Yeah.
Brandon, I feel like okay, I'll handle it. Brandon, I feel like we've kind of illustrated for you that the information that you are trying to provide to us is completely untrustworthy, and that we're willing to read articles that you give us. And I can't speak for Forrest. I'm certainly willing to change my mind on literally any single thing, anything, if you can convince me of it. But instead of trying to actually convince me, you're just spreading propaganda and lies. You're not giving us anything valid or valuable or useful for genuinely understanding the world around us. So please, help me out here. Give me some reason why what was the original question? Give me some reason why we should start agreeing with you on literally any of this shit. Without propaganda and lies.
Just Google urban decline, Democrat states.
Okay, look, there it is. You just did Google that for us, right? You just did that for us and gave us a bunch of articles, or you gave us the names of news sources. The one article that you gave us didn't have that in it at all. What am I supposed to do with that? The one article you gave me did not. Obviously. Yeah, we sat here and we went through the whole thing, and it did not contain any of the words that you said it contained. It wasn't even about the thing that you said it was about.
If you're not intellectually capable of reading the article, that's your problem, you know?
Give it a
it actually...
You sat here with
as soon as you start looking through all the articles on here, it tells you
all the articles where?
Look, I don't know if you knew this, but we can't actually see your
screen. All I'm doing is stating what the facts are saying on Google.
The only thing, first of all, I can't stress this enough. Google is not a source. Google is a search engine. It brings up all sorts of different things. Some of them are good sources. Some of them are bad sources.
Resource, and it's the #1 search, along with Newsweek, which you also said is a reliable source. PBS, is that a reliable source?
I did not say Newsweek was. I did not say Newsweek was a reliable source, and I did just do what you told us to do, and I went and I Googled urban decline Democrat cities. That is exactly what you said to Google. And the one thing that I found that is halfway close to what you're saying is this piece. It's from the Los Angeles Daily Times, Urban Decay and the Failure of Leadership, Why Democrats Must Fix Our Cities. Is that a source that you are referring to?
That might be one of them. Who's that through again? Can you repeat it?
That's through Los Angeles Daily News.
That's
that one.
Somewhere. Sure, LA Daily News is probably a good one.
Okay, Brandon, you're dumb as all hell. That is an opinion piece.
Well,
I'm going to pull it up on the screen here. That is a commentary and opinion piece, is what you were referring to here. That is not data-driven.
Newsweek, Americans are leaving Democratic states.
Newsweek is not trustworthy.
Newsweek is not a good source.
Cities see largest population loss as red states. Boom. TBS. Democrats' future crisis.
And what does that say, Brandon? Do you understand the difference? Brandon, do you understand the difference? Brandon, do you understand the difference? Oh my fucking God.
Go ahead. I'm muted.
Do you understand the difference between people leaving blue states and blue states having a massive homelessness and crime population? Do you understand that those are two different concepts? Because you keep giving us examples of articles saying people are leaving blue states, and then you not the article, you say, here's this stuff about them, it's all because of homelessness and crime. The article doesn't say that. You say that.
As well, so it's dumb. I can't even speak freely. So,
Brandon, we keep putting you on mute because you keep talking over us. We keep asking you questions, and you just keep rambling off news organizations.
Well, yeah, those are the sources that you want to claim are not trustworthy.
No, they're
AP
not.
News, Newsweek, and
No,
Forbes,
they are
and
not.
PBS.
Brandon, the name of
Over
a
and over
news
and over, same
organization
people.
is not a source.
You even went all the way down to Los Angeles news event where Daily News saying it's false and it's an opinion. So whose opinion is right? Only your sources?
Brandon,
You sound like
Brandon.
a biased one, sir.
Brandon, the name of a
Very
news
worrisome.
organization is not a source. It's just the name of an organization. You have to give us a specific article from that organization that says what you are saying with data. Not an opinion piece, data.
Urban decline due to immigration. Type it in. It'll show you.
Urban decline due to immigration. I Googled that. What am I looking for?
Number one article.
Okay,
the
what's
number
the
one
title?
thing that comes up is from the Hoover Institution.
Not for me.
What is the number one thing for you so I can look it up and judge whether or not it's reasonable?
It's the Center of Immigration and Studies. So under Biden, Democrat insisted on immigration. This is April 16th, 2025. Proportion of Democrats who believed immigration levels of the threat rose. Blah, 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 blah. The second article in the New York Times is also really good.
Hold on. No, I'm still looking for the first article. I'm still looking for the first article.
I'm muting
Jesus
again.
Christ.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to verify whether anything you're saying is true, you fucking child. You can't give me the name of what you're saying. I just typed in urban decline due to immigration, Center for Immigration Studies. What you're saying isn't coming up. So either you're lying or I haven't found it yet. So tell me what the fuck you want me to look at, because I'm not just going to take your word for it. You clearly don't know what a source is. You thought Google was a source.
I think he left.
Yeah, he probably did. Because fucking for the first time in his goddamn life, Brandon got asked for evidence and couldn't handle it.
That was absurd.
Oh my fuck, dude.
Like the bottom line is we just need some evidence. We will change our minds on literally anything. And
happily.
He could not provide evidence for the opinion that he was espousing, that urban decline. Here's what he was really saying. Urban decline, crime, and all of that permanently goes up as the result of immigration because they're from third world countries and we're importing the third world and all the other garbage that these people like to spread. And it's nonsense. That is not how the real world works. And there is no source for that. That's the fact of the matter. He can't prove that because it's not real. So going in circles for 20 minutes while he tries to find a source is fraud. And I hope that he recognizes that, but I doubt it.
I think you can really like the pivotal moment of that entire call. When we knew the writing was on the wall with fucking. I forgot what exactly it was that he said, but he's like, I got this on Fox News. And we're like, oh, that's not real. Of course it is. It's right here. Like, it's written down. Someone wrote it and it's on Fox. And it's like, okay, that's why you believe this shit. That is why. Because you think that Fox is a source and somebody wrote a thing that means it's true. And so many of those articles, the couple of times we actually got an article, it didn't say what he was saying. It said something tangential. And then he interpreted something out of it. He added his own flavor to it. That's not even opinion. That's just lying. So, sorry, dude.
And I'm sorry to say, but when Trump is gone, which is going to happen at some point between the next 4 years and the next 40 years, right? Whenever that happens, and he's out of the White House and out of politics, we're still going to have a Fox News problem. They have poisoned democracy so thoroughly. Reversing this damage is going to be an uphill battle, you know?
Ugh. We've got 3 calls left. We're going to go ahead and do, if it's cool with you, this one that said that they were going to call in and expose my demonic lies. That sounds like fun. They've been waiting for a little while.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a wild ride right off the bat. Let's talk to Arlen. No pronouns given. Calling in from Assault Raccoons, who wants to defend Samantha Folnicki opposing gender ideology. Arlen, you were on the line with Forrest and Owen. How are you doing today?
Doing great, Forrest. And Mr. Morgan, how y'all doing?
Do I call you? I'm all right. Do I call you R? Is that appropriate, or what would you like to be called as far as a name?
Sure. R works just fine.
R works. Okay. And I see you have no pronouns given. Do you just not use pronouns ever?
Oh, I use pronoun. I mean, I just used I. What I'll say is that this thing of he, him, she, her, they, them. I don't do that. No.
So if I were to refer to you in the third person, I would not be allowed to say he, him?
Sure, just refer to me by name. That sounds fine with me.
So when I talk about this call, I can't say he called in and I talked to him. You would prefer I say R called in, I talked to R said these things, and I said this to R.
You know what? Whatever floats your boat, man.
What would float my boat is that we just use pronouns like normal people, which would be, for you, if you use he, him pronouns, I would just say he and him when referring to you. I use he, him pronouns. I'm a cisgender man. I prefer he and him. So if somebody talks about me in the third person, they can say, I called him and I talked to him.
All right, I'll tell you what. If it calms down the hornet's nest, then you can change it to he and him, and that'll be just fine with me.
There's no hornet's nest. I just don't understand why this is such an issue. It's the easiest part of English.
I guess coming in to talk about Samantha and how, it's pretty obvious to me that her mentally ill teacher's assistant gave her a 0 on purpose. I mean, I wouldn't give her an A. No, that paper wasn't awesome. I'd probably give her like a D or something, but I wouldn't.
Talking
but that
about
0 is clearly an
Oklahoma.
agenda.
Yeah, he's talking about the girl from Oklahoma. And
with the
yeah.
0.
And you said, and just to be clear, you said, I didn't hear you properly. You said you would give that paper a B as in boy or a D as in dog?
A D. A D.
Okay.
I'd give it a D.
So in that paper, I don't know if you watched my whole video. I know you were in the comments on my video during the premiere. But in that video, I did point out there are, in that entire paper, exactly 2 sentences that reference that paper in any way. You think that's worthy of a D?
Well, I'd say I personally, I consider the Bible to be a source, and since she used that, I'd say that there's more than just 2 sentences worthy of that.
But just to be clear,
the reason
she is not in a Bible class. She's in a psychology class, which is a science class that requires you to show actual academic sources. And if she was going to reference the Bible, she should have cited it in APA fashion, as is required in a psychology class, especially considering the fact that she is a junior. So she's been doing this for at least 3 years. She knows how to cite a source properly.
Right. So I guess what I'm saying is that psychology is the study of the human mind, but a lot of people seem to forget who created the human mind and in what ways he created them. And the intentional, obviously it's not always necessarily 100% binary. I mean, you have all these stuff like trisomy and all these things, but it's supposed to be binary, and things that don't fit in that aren't supposed to exist, if that makes sense.
So just to be clear, so first of all, that's gross to say, but we're going to move past that. Just to be clear, the article that she was responding to, or supposed to be responding to, was about gender, not sex. So intersex conditions are not involved in this. Trisomy, all these things you're talking about, Klinefelter syndrome, Swyer syndrome, De La Chapelle syndrome, mosaicism, all these different things, those are all intersex conditions, nothing to do with gender. What she was responding to is gender, which is a different thing than sex.
Oh, no. I'll get into gender. I mean, I guess we can start with sex. We'll get into gender later, but I guess personally, I don't really. I mean, the academic consensus, quote unquote, is that they're different things, but it just sounds like the ideology that is happening these days.
So, out of curiosity, do you? And this is not meant to be a dig at you. I mean this sincerely, so I know how to speak to you. Do you have any training in biology, psychology, sociology, medicine, anthropology, any of that?
I have training in common sense.
So no. Okay, so you have no academic training in any of these things. Do you have any academic training at all? Have you been to any kind of higher education?
No, sir.
Okay. So the reason why I ask, again, is not to dig at you. It is so that I know how to speak to you. Because if you have been through college for anything, there are a few things that you would pick up in like how you're supposed to behave and how you're supposed to, back up what you're saying. So because you don't have that experience, I'm just going to break a couple of things down for you here. As a scientist, my entire academic career has been one where I am asked to justify every fucking thing that I say, whether or not it is common sense. Even things that I think are very obvious, I need to have a reason to say it. And I need to have some evidence for it. And I need to be able to back it up, if not with a credible source from an actual scientific journal, at least with solid reason, something that I can back up with a really, really good argument. What Samantha did was talk about her personal faith. She didn't even talk about mainstream Christianity. She talked about her preferred version of Christianity. As I mentioned in that video, Christianity is a highly individualized religion. So she talked about her personal type of Christianity and her personal interpretation of the Bible, which goes against what Bible experts say, and use that, her personal feelings, as evidence in a science class. There is no world in which that would be acceptable, no matter what she was talking about. If she was talking about how the earth is round and the sky is blue, that would be an unacceptable way to do that, and she would get an F on that paper.
All right. Well, I guess what I'm saying is that even though it, was a science class, I think the point was that she was doing the right thing and that she was exposing the ideology. And even though she may have not cited every source on the planet, the fact is that she
didn't cite any at all.
Well, I'd say she cited the Bible, just not an APA.
No, she didn't. She didn't cite the Bible. She mentioned the Bible. She said something says something in Genesis, but that's not how you cite the Bible properly. That's not how that works. So she just mentioned something in the Bible. But again, even what she mentioned in the Bible goes against what actual scholars of the Bible, people who study the Bible for a living, they say that what she said is wrong.
You mean atheists?
And I have also
Bart Ehrman?
No, there are theistic Bible scholars as well that are all on the same side about this. But even if it wasn't, these are people who are trained to study this text in its original language and know what it means fundamentally. What Samantha did was offer up her personal interpretation and her personal faith. Now, you agree with what she said, but I personally know Christians that do not agree with her. And I have talked on this show. I'm on this show every week, and I talk to Christians every week. And I have met Christians on this show and talked to them and debated with them that would not say the same thing that she says. Those people are just as Christian as you are, and just as Christian as she is. And they would disagree with you for the exact same reason that you agree with her, because it is against their personal faith. That's not science. So the best thing that you and she have to offer here is that your interpretation of your translation of your version of your holy book says something that all the scientists in the world don't say. And that's simply not good enough for a science class. Again, if she said the earth is round and the sky is blue, and she said it this way, she should still have failed that class.
So I guess what I'll say is that I don't think that they did all the way, even though, I mean, I'll admit that the responses that they gave to her seemed rather polite. I'll give it that. But what I'll say is that with what they're doing, it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear to someone like me that they targeted her, and now that she's clapping back, they realize that they made a mistake and they put that TA on administrative leave because they knew they screwed up big time.
How did they target her? By treating her exactly like everyone else. Because as I said, as someone who has been through college a lot, she was treated exactly the same way any other student would be treated if they behaved that way. So how is it targeting her if she was treated the same as everyone else?
Well, obviously, if they put her on administrative leave, then that definitely means they're probably investigating this. And if they're investigating, they probably found something that might suggest. And I find the fact that they put her on administrative leave to be a sign that they found something that suggested it was targeting.
And an investigation does not imply guilt. An investigation is meant to find out if this person is guilty or not. So the fact that they put the TA on administrative leave is a problem. I would say that that's more indicative of political pressure and the fact that we live in an extremely conservative state with an extreme Christian bias. But even still, if they are investigating someone, that it's an extremely bad thing, but that's a different conversation for a different time. If they're investigating someone, that means that they're investigating someone. For you to assume that that means that they're guilty is a faith-based claim, not an evidence-based claim.
All right. Well, I suppose you covered everything I wanted to talk. I mean, one thing is that I not only am I not a fan of the, this ideology, but it started with the homosexuality stuff, and I can tell you, based on my experiences as a kid, that especially these homosexual males, they are truly vile people, and I can give you personal experience because, like, these people talk about how they're survivors.
Yeah,
I'm a survivor of one of these perverts as well, and I can tell you that they are.
I'm going to be very serious with you for a second. I am genuinely sorry if someone was creepy to you, assaulted you, or did anything negative to you in these ways. I'm truly, sincerely sorry if someone assaulted you or hurt you or violated you. That's fucking horrible and that never needs to happen. What you are now doing is taking a personal anecdotal experience and using it to paint a very broad brush across an extremely diverse group of people, all across time and space. That is as stupid as someone saying I was mugged by a black person, so all black people are evil. It is equally as dumb. So I am sincerely and truly sorry that something bad happened to you. Genuinely. Whoever did something bad to you should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. They should never see the light of day again. That's awful. But to use that to then say all homosexuals are vile people is fucking bigoted. More importantly, what I think is really frustrating here is that I understand you have your faith. I know scientists who are Christian. My academic advisor for my PhD right now is a Christian. And yet we are studying evolution together, right? Your faith does not have any bearing on data, on science, on reality. If your faith comports with reality, that's great. But at the end of the day, reality is what reality is. And as scientists, it is our job to gather data on reality and learn what the universe actually is all about. Faith does not belong in that conversation. Faith in the Bible is the hope for things unseen. It's the evidence for something that you have no evidence for. That's not what science is. Science is learning what the universe actually is and using evidence to get out of your own way, to get outside of your own mind, to learn about reality in reality's terms and reality's language. She was in a science class and she refused to participate in science. It does not matter if she aligns with your faith or your bigoted worldview. It doesn't matter if you like what she said or not. It is undeniable that she did not do science in a science class, and so she was treated the same way as anybody else who would not do science in a science class. If she walked into an art class and refused to do art, she would have been given an F. If she walked into a music class and refused to produce music, she would be given an F. She walked into a science class and refused to do science. And she wrote that essay in such a way that she would have failed in a theology program as well. I know, because I have friends who have gotten theology degrees. She did not do the job. She was failed because she did not do the job.
I suppose that's a logical response. I'll give you, yeah, that's good. Tracks.
So now my question to you are, what do you think you know and that Samantha knows that all the best scientists and researchers in the world who study humans, who study anthropology, psychology, sociology, biomedical sciences, and biology, the people who actually specialize in this stuff, who, like me, spend years and years of their lives learning about this, what are all of us missing that you and Samantha can so easily tell is just ideology without having any training in this area, without even knowing what it is we're studying? What do you think makes you so arrogant that you would behave that way?
Well, I don't think it's necessarily something we know that you don't know. It's about what we interpret what we know. And what I'm saying is that there's this idea, of course, there are all these diverse things that like all these syndromes and things that make that, you know, are different in society and make different people different. But it is my opinion that those should be a binary, so anything that is outside of it should not be there, if that makes sense.
Do you know how to fly
an airplane?
Do you know how to build or fly an airplane?
No, but I do handyman stuff for a living, yes.
Okay, so do you think that anyone at all should care about your personal opinion on how to build and fly airplanes?
No, I suppose not.
So what's the difference? You have no training in biology, sociology, psychology, anthropology, biomedical science, any of the science that goes into this. You have no training in any of it whatsoever. But in your uneducated opinion, you think that we should be treating it in this way that is thoroughly debunked, that has been debunked for almost 100 years. What's the difference between that and you walking out onto the tarmac at the airport and saying, no, the wings need to be shaped like this, and you got to move the throttle that way? Why should we take you or Samantha seriously on this case, but not that case?
I suppose you make a good point. It's just I think that the fact that those things exist doesn't make them good or viable or, in my opinion, something that was intended by our creator.
Right. You have faith. You have a religion. What I do is science. And what Samantha was there to learn was science. And what you are discussing right now is science. And when we find scientific evidence for a creator and for a purpose and for intentions and all these different things, then we can talk about that in science class. But until then, what you are asking for is Sunday school. You're asking for your personal interpretation of your preferred version, of your preferred translation, of your preferred holy book to be, for lack of a better word, the gospel. And if that was the case, if that's how we behaved, not just with sex and gender, if that's how we behaved with anything else, there would be a major fucking problem. I assume, just for example, I'm not trying to start a conversation about this, but do you accept evolution?
Well, what I'll say is that I'm not one of those creationists, and I have some issues with ID. I'm not a big fan of Stephen Meyer. I'm not fully on the evolution train, but I suppose.
So here's the issue. Again, I'm not trying to argue with you about evolution, but the fact is, every bit of the agriculture industry and the medical industry are rooted in evolution. And the fossil fuel industry as well is based on our understanding of an old Earth full of long dead organic matter from the Carboniferous period that we can dig up. So, without an understanding of evolution, we don't have fossil fuels. We don't have modern medicine. We don't have modern surgery. We don't have antibiotics, vaccines, anything that goes along with it. A lot of like heart reconstructions and shit that we need to understand, development. All that's out the window. We don't have modern agriculture. We don't have enough food to feed 8 billion people on this planet. All that goes down the drain because all of that is rooted in our understanding of evolution, and also a large part of the pet industry as well, right? We don't have like cats and dogs and shit because we don't have evolution anymore. So if we take a biblical view of the origins and diversity of life, we lose evolution, and now we lose all these things. And that's the same thing here. If we talk about a biblical worldview on math, the Bible says that pi equals 3. You've now a huge amount of architecture, aviation, physics, huge swaths of culture of our society go down the drain. So it's okay, that you have this faith. It's okay that you like the Bible. It's okay that you're a Christian. It's okay that you have your personal views. I think they're wrong, and I'd love to debate them with you. But the point is, science fucking works. And when we talk about biology, medicine, anthropology, psychology, sociology, these are things that not only teach us about the world around us, they save lives. And the evidence tells us that sex and gender are non-synonymous and non-binary. And that's why I even said in my video, in all my fucking schooling, I've yet to have a professor, a textbook, anything that argued for what you're talking about here, because there's just no data to support it. It's an outdated idea. So you're welcome to your opinion, and Samantha's welcome to her opinion, but it isn't fucking science. And if you want to participate in science, you need to keep that opinion to yourself, or better, update your opinion with new evidence. Change your opinion to make it fit reality. And if you want to sit here and say that this is some ideology, you're up against the fact that all of these people have a reason for what they believe. There is not a single college professor up there that's like, what would be great is if we fucking like trick all the children and make them believe in all these different, make them all change their genders. Woo-ba-doo. That isn't happening. We're all just teaching what we know to be true based on the evidence. You call it ideology because you have no training in this area. And I hate to make an assumption, but you probably listen to people who say similar things to you, who also have no training in this area. So I encourage you to be more curious, dude, because this is a beautiful and exciting field of science that Samantha is missing out on, and you are missing out on. And you could change the world if you studied
it. You've given me a lot to think about. I suppose I was jumping the gun a bit. You've given me a lot to think about. I've been. It's just my experience with and I get it's like personal experience, but I guess what I'm saying is that I have a hard time trusting, like gay, trans stuff. My experience with them has been as a survivor quote. That's all. That's all I really. That is all. That is the only kind. That is the only category of experience that I have, and it seems that they are generally more interested in, smaller, more petite people in general.
Not true.
And that just
not true. I know some gay dudes who love big, burly, hairy men. So it sounds like you bought into a stereotype, R. And let me tell you, I'm not calling you anything
I was a victim
here.
of that stereotype.
Yeah, and again, I get that. But like that stereotype, and again, I'm not calling you anything here. I just want to be very clear. But you should know that stereotype literally is actually Nazi propaganda. Like, that's not a hyperbole. That actually is where that shit started. The LGBT groomers thing, that is actually Nazi talking points. And it's caught on, and it's stuck around for a long time. And you know what fucking sucks? Is that some fucking asshole, some reprehensible piece of shit did something terrible to you. And now as a result, you have bought in to a talking point and a rhetoric that leads to children taking their own lives all the time. Gay and trans kids kill themselves because people in our culture talk like you do. And they are good, innocent people who think that the whole world hates them just because of who they are. And so they decide that the world would be better off without them in it. And they'd be a lot happier if they didn't have to put up with that kind of abuse. As much as you were hurt by this one person, these children are. They are hurt every single day by everybody around them, telling them that they're wicked and sinful. And you even said mentally ill. You said that, dude. People tell them that they're mentally ill just for being themselves. And that fucking traumatizes them. So I'm sorry. Really, I mean it, dude. I am so fucking sorry that something terrible happened to you. There are communities out there that can help. That can help you talk it out. But to hate, and what you are doing is hate. When you hate millions of innocent people, millions of children who just want to live in this world the way that you do, just because of who they are, because they might look like, talk like, act like, love like somebody who did something evil to you, you have to know that's dumb as fuck. And I have to believe you're better than that. And you're seeing the world through a lot of pain and not with your brain. And man, the world would be a better place if you didn't do it.
I'll think on it.
All right, man.
I'll think on it.
Well, call me back if you ever want to have a angry, passionate, screaming debate, because that's what I'm here for. And I hope you get the help you need. I hope you talk to somebody and work through this shit, because you got some trauma and you don't deserve it. So I hope you work through it. And I hope you get the help you need, and I hope you get the compassion that you need. And I hope you're compassionate to yourself, first and foremost. And at the end of the day, I hope that you go out and make more diverse friends. I hope that you go to here in Tulsa, where I live, we have the Dennis R. Neal Equality Center. I don't know what you got there, but I hope you find an LGBT rights organization and go talk and say, listen, man, I had a fucked up experience and I don't know shit about you, and I want to. And I hope you make some friends, because I think the world will be a lot better if we did that a little bit more.
You don't think they'd just say, oh, you're just one of them homophobes, and that they won't kick me out or anything like that? I feel like
it depends. If you come in talking like you talked to me at the beginning of this call, they might. But at the end of the and you also got to give them some grace, because as reactionary as you are, because you've been hurt, they might be reactionary too. I guarantee if somebody is calling them slurs and giving them death threats, and they have to live in a country which is actively stripping their rights away, did you know that sexual orientation and gender identity are not protected statuses when we're talking about like housing discrimination? Here in every country, every state in the United States, you can be evicted from your home if they find out you're trans. Like that's the world they live in, you know? So if you come in with some shit to say, they might not be nice. But let me tell you, I have met a lot of gay and trans people. I've met a lot of trans people in my time, in my travels. And they're some of the fucking kindest, strongest people I've ever met. But at the end of the day, dude, they're people, you know? And people are people. And you're going to have assholes in every group. I know some trans people that I don't want to hang out with that are assholes, but I know a lot more of them that are really fucking nice. And we also have here on this channel, we have the Transatlantic Call-In show every week on Thursdays, I believe, where it's a show hosted by trans people that just take calls from people who don't understand them. And as long as you're nice, they'll be nice too, I promise you. But there's a lot of opportunities out there. You can also look up trans advocacy organizations. Look up the Trevor Project, which is an LGBT youth advocacy organization, which will give you suicide statistics that'll fucking shake your bones up, dude. They tear your heart right out. There's a lot of organizations out there that advocate for these people that just answer these questions, because the fact of the matter is their existence has become politicized. And dude, I want you just to fucking imagine living in that world for 1 second. And a world where politicians, no joke, are spending millions of dollars per trans person just to talk about how evil they are. Imagine living in that world for a second and tell me you'd want to stay there. And then, yeah, dude, reach out to these people and make some friends, get to know some people, talk to them, give them a hug, and get some fucking therapy because you deserve it. And we'll all be okay. We're all gonna be all right. Anyway, with that, R, do you have anything left for me before we move on?
Oh well, I just searched up the Trevor. You asked for this. I'm looking at the statistics here, and they're 39% of young. So I guess young people talking about like teens, 20s, maybe 39% seriously considered suicide in the past year, including 46% of transgender, non-binary, 12% at least attempted in the last year, 50% were not able to receive any care. It's
yeah. Imagine living that
due
life.
to recent politics. 90% due to recent.
And let me tell you also, you talk about sexual assaults. Trans people, both trans men and women across the board, are 4 times more likely to experience violent crime, sexual assault, all that shit. 4 times more likely. So I promise you, if you go to somebody with a story, they probably have one too. These people are victimized. They're looked down upon. They're pathologized. They're called crazy. They're called demons by people like Samantha. And they're just trying to live their life.
I guess the demonic thing kind of...
fucking sucks.
I guess what I'll say is children, that I came on to this starting off. I was kind of pissed how they were doing Samantha, and I guess I suppose I wasn't really. I guess looking at this stuff, I guess it's just. I suppose I probably should have taken a look at this stuff before I even got on the damn call.
Can I tell you one more thing, R? Just to give you some compassion here. What happened for you here? You getting pissed and calling in and all this stuff. That is exactly what these fucking people want. Samantha is a member of Turning Point USA, and her mom was a lawyer that defended January 6th rioters. And like, I'm not trying to bring politics in it, but like this ultra right wing like group, this movement that we have here in the United States with the Jordan Petersons and the Ben Shapiros and the Candace Owenses and the Donald Trumps and all this, that what you experienced here is what they fucking want. It's reactionary and it's volatile, and they want you to feel like your world is under attack. They want you to feel like you are the bastion of good, and that all these evil people are coming in here like demons to fucking like change shit up and tear. And the more mad and lonely you feel, the more they fucking win. Think about like these right-wing pundits and these fucking super right-wing talking heads. The more they can tell you you are alone and you are under attack, you don't feel better afterwards. You feel more alone and more under attack. And so you go back to them so they can tell you more about it. And it gets you in this fucking cycle of misery and hate and reaction and anger. And it makes you feel the way you felt when you called in here. And I'm telling you, that is their fucking business model, dude, is division. None of us are born with hate. None of us are born with prejudice. None of us are born like that. It's always given to us by somebody who can profit off of our ignorance and fear. So that's why I'm telling you to make more friends. It's not just that you'll be happier, and it's not just that they'll be safer, but community is the best fucking weapon that we have against that kind of fucking ignorance and stupidity and division and hate. Just think about it, man. The way that made you feel, I'm telling you, you don't have to believe me right now, but just think about it. The way that you felt calling into this call is a fucking business model. And it gets them votes and it gets them money. And if you can build community instead, I promise you, your life will be happier and the world will be better. Anyway, with that, this has been an amazing call. I sincerely thank you for calling in today. But I've got 2 left and then I've got to go to bed because I've got finals this week. But so we're going to move on. But call back if you have any other questions for me, all right?
All right. Y'all take care now.
Right. Who cares? Yep. You too are. Bye-bye. Good call.
That was interesting. Yes, that was very interesting. Yeah, really well said. I thought that was well done. And I appreciate the mention for the Trevor Project. They are awesome.
Huge group.
Yeah. I've donated them a few times before, actually.
They're really good people.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And shout out to R. Big props to that dude for changing his mind and for looking up facts and for actually being willing to self-reflect and think about what was being said. Because a lot of people, they keep on doubling and tripling and quadrupling down on hate. And that dude, I think, is a good person who's bought into some bullshit because that is a fucking business. There's no shame on him. That is a business that he has fallen prey to. And I think he's going to be better off today.
Mm-hmm.
We got Absolutely. 2 calls left, and both of them are theists. Let's. Do you have a particular interest between 19 and 22?
22 looks good. We can hit that.
Yeah.
I've been waiting about the same amount of time. So.
Yeah. Let's talk to Ben. Pronouns he and him, calling in from the British Virgin Islands, who says, this is what it says on the screen, and I'm really excited if this is true. God told me to call after placing knowledge in my heart. Fuck yes. Ben, you are on the line with Forrest and Owen. How are you doing today?
The hypersynergistic onto epistemic meta-emergence argument for God. Let us begin by postulating ontological primacy of abstracted causal maximality.
Okay, so are we... I'm gonna put Ben on mute here because I'm not trying to get copyright claim for somebody else's YouTube video. Ben, what are we doing? Do you have thoughts of your own, or are you just here to play a YouTube video to us? I'm gonna put you off mute for a second. And we're still just playing a YouTube video. I'll give it a couple more seconds. And we're gonna bring you back.
To circumvent the IRDV paradox, we must posit a maximally...
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you wanna fuck with this?
That's okay.
Yeah.
We can move on. That's a real shame.
Yeah, that blows, Ben. That really blows. Last call is from Ray, pronouns he, him, who wants to talk about conflict with China. Bizarre. Ray, you're on the line with Forrest and Owen.
Oh.
And I'm going to step away for 1 second, Owen, if you can handle this for just 1 minute.
Yep.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
Go ahead. Yes.
Can I just say goodnight to my kid, like 2 seconds, literally?
Can you what?
Good night, baby. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. How you doing?
Doing well. So I understand you have said you want to talk about potential conflict with China.
Yeah, that was until I heard your last call. And actually, I would really like to talk about that.
Okay. Well, Forrest just stepped away for a minute, so he can't contribute at this moment, but I can contribute. Is there something that you wanted to mention? I mean, he'll be back in a second.
No, for sure. No, so do you want me to wait for him? Like, we can talk about China in the meantime. There's just like,
sure, lay it on me.
It was actually super incredible. But I guess I was wondering, like, what are your guys' thoughts on just all this?
I'm sorry, you're breaking up. What are your thoughts on what?
Hear me?
Oh, no, okay. What are our thoughts on conflicts with China? You said.
Yeah, am I just like not coming through at all?
You are now. It was just kind of breaking up randomly there for a second. Anyway, my thoughts on conflicts with China. Generally, I think it's stupid posturing. I do think that China is kind of aggressive with some of the things that they do. It's kind of a cutthroat type of situation, but Trump is like running in at like head first and is going to run straight into a wall like he always does. He seems to make a mess of every single foreign trade agreements or whatever that he ever engages in. So yeah, that's my thought on it.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. I agree with using tariffs in like a measured state, like to replace China in the aggregate. But I think using blanket tariffs is like pretty stupid. And like more than that, I think in the terms of like foreign policy, like even from like a hawk perspective, if you talk about like actual deterrence, there's like no real industrial policy that is going to give you real teeth in any sort of like true negotiation, like with the Chinese. So in the same way that they can call our bluff in terms of tariffs because we don't have the industrial capacity, they can call our bluff in terms of defense, like when it comes time to pay the piper over Taiwan. And I think that puts us in like a super duper precarious position because, it's like you're playing poker and you have no cards. And we have some cards, but like unless we get our act together, it looks pretty precarious. And if that falls apart, then the alliance structure falls apart. If the alliance structure falls apart, then we're really rolling dominoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. The whole tariff thing is absolutely absurd. Tariffs are not meant to be used that way. They were never meant to be used that way. In fact, tariffs are almost always bad in almost every situation. And Trump is seemingly using it as like a tool to gain more power. So it's kind of absolutely absurd. Hey, welcome back, Forrest. The caller just wanted to talk about the last call, actually.
Oh, yeah. Hey, that's great.
Yeah, honestly, like I've never called into a show before, and I've been on the line for like 2 hours listening to like a morass of people who just like wouldn't listen, and you guys getting like super pissed at them, and it just being like an absolutely, like a toxic shit fest. And then you got to that.
You see what we deal with.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, fair enough. But if this is like a little synchronicity here, but like, so I'm a theist, but I have like an odd intersection in my life. Like my child is actually transgender. And
right on.
It's been like 4 years, and it's been like I don't know. That was actually super beautiful. Like, in the Platonic dialogues, like there's the character Glaucon.
Yeah.
He's like the only redeemable like interlocutor that like Socrates talks to, because he's the only one that just like admits he doesn't know shit. And like I got to admit, like homeboy Arlen, like my man, dude, he like when it came time for him to be put in the trap, he just admitted that he didn't know, and he like approached with an open heart. And I have to like give you your flowers right now, man. That was pretty fucking beautiful. Like,
I'm very proud of him.
Yeah, no,
he did an amazing job.
I'm proud. That was amazing. Yeah, that was pretty cool, man. And yeah, that's that. I guess I don't know. I had to say something. Yeah, for sure.
I appreciate that. That's very kind of you, and good for him. Like seriously, I shout out to that dude. He was nice.
Yeah, that takes like a lot of moral courage to admit you're wrong. Like, especially when you're trapped by someone. And you like.
I did not expect a good call. I did not expect it to go so well after fucking mentally ill and all homosexuals are vile people. I did not expect it to be that good.
Oh my god.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess that's like people's taste manifest. Like that is like the rough edge of conservatism, right? Is that like you have a hard time accepting like others at all, you know?
It sucks.
You're the man who makes the fence, you hold the fence, you don't let people in, so there's an ordered society, right? And that there's like a sharp edge to that, and that's fucked up.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I hope I didn't miss anything. I came into, I don't know what I came into. Fuck Trump.
Yes, we were talking about China and Trump's use of tariffs and stuff like that, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
So did you, was there anything else you wanted to mention on that, actually? Because I feel like I covered it on my end. Yeah, Trump is just using tariffs to gain more power is the bottom line, seems to me. Yeah, and that's not how tariffs are used.
Do you believe in replacing like a Chinese manufacturing with tariffs, like at all, or with industrial policy? Does that
not
seem like
really?
A reasonable policy on their part?
No. We're a service-based economy, not an industry-based economy. We could try to bring industry back to the U.S., but first of all, we don't need to do that. We have other. Our economy is structured around other things, not manufacturing. China's is structured around manufacturing, and that's why you hear a lot of stuff about like Chinese sweatshops and stuff like that, and people sewing bags together for like 34 hours straight, and they're getting like 6 cents per bag and things like that. It's ugly.
I've heard the truth.
But that's the only way that they can make, or all right, let me rephrase. Manufacturing won't be as profitable if it moves to the United States because of how China structures everything. And I'm absolutely not advocating for you.
If I'm being honest.
Okay, hang on one second. I was going to say I'm absolutely not advocating for using Chinese manufacturing as our source of manufacturing. There are more ethical ways to do it. I'm just saying I don't think we're going to bring manufacturing back like that. But what were you going to say?
I when I say replace in the aggregate, I don't mean bring low-end manufacturing back to the United States. I'm saying using tariffs selectively to like to friendshore what you can and to reshore what you can, so then you have like a more robust like geopolitical system like inside like the American system. And so that if there is a kind of crisis, you're like insulated from the shockwaves of it. And I think that puts us in a safer position. Like even when we go to like, if there's a Cuban Missile Crisis 2.0, like surrounding Taiwan, then like we will be in a better position to make better decisions, like in a moment of duress. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I 100% agree with that, except that's not, of course, what the tariffs are doing right now. Tariffs, if you wanted to do that, we would want to pass something like, I don't know, the Chips and Science Act, and we would want to do targeted tariffs towards specific industries. We'd have to build supply chains to source sand. I don't know if people know this, but sand, the type of sand you need to make chips is, it's not just any sand. It has to be a very specific type. And there are like sand black markets and stuff because it's a very uncommon type of sand. And you can't just like go out and buy some. Like it's already being taken up by Taiwan primarily and China and some other major chip manufacturers. Point is, we need to set up an infrastructure for certain industries, which I'm all into. And his blanket tariffs are dumb as dog shit and not accomplishing literally anything. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But you also believe in like industrial policy on the other side, I'm guessing.
Elaborate. What do you mean?
Industrial policy, like you like exactly like the CHIPS Act. Like you would use, in my opinion, you should use money creation to fund like surplus in the economy. Like that's what I think. And you could do that in the places you need the most. That's what I think is smartest. Like Steve Keen economics, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all in with that kind of thing, 100%. It's just like everything that Donald Trump does is for his own benefit. From what that's what I've come to find. Like he doesn't ever do anything for the good of the country or whatever. It's always like approached from an angle of how can I benefit from this, and that's awful. So we can't move forward until we do that. Yeah. No, that
How do you feel about expanding? How do you feel about expanding like munition stocks, like precision guided munitions?
I think we already have an incredibly high like military budget, and it doesn't need to be anywhere near as high as it is right now. Like not even close. We could probably cut it to 25% of what it is right now, and we would be in decent shape still. I mean, it's $1 trillion budget. So.
Like commitments with our current security commitments, you feel like we could maintain like the world order with our allies with the 25% of our budget?
That's a good point. Yeah, maybe not 25%, but we could certainly cut it dramatically. Like it just went up to $1 trillion from like 800 billion or something. So it went up another.
Yeah.
What is that? 15% or something like that. There's an somewhere in that vicinity. So we could certainly cut it down dramatically. I think maybe we could do it with 400 billion. Maybe even less than that. Yeah, I think so. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. There are people out there that have real, actual good numbers that we could talk to about this. But it doesn't need to be anywhere near what it is right now. That's for sure.
So, like, when you take a situation like Ukraine, where they're getting kamikaze drones, they're getting cruise missiles, and they need like Patriot missile batteries, and we can't really give them because we have to put them in stock to deter the Chinese. We have to bring them down to the Middle East because we have obligations in the Middle East. Like, doesn't that feel like we don't have the juice for the squeeze? Like we don't have enough to do the job that we're doing. And
my understanding is that a lot of the stuff that we've been sending to Ukraine has been surplus stuff, or not just surplus, but things that we don't like that we want to replace anyway. I haven't seen too much information about like not having enough money or resources to provide stuff to Ukraine. I think
if you look, like the stocks are not doing great, and it is precarious.
Our current stocks of like Patriot missiles and stuff, you mean?
Exactly. Especially if like things were to get hot, like in the South China Sea, and things were to get hot in the Middle East, and Europe were to pop off all at the same time. Like now, you don't have enough interceptors, let alone precision guided munitions, and like then in a security sense, we're bankrupt. And
I haven't
think
seen
that's
that.
a really precarious position. Oh, this is.
I would agree that it's. I would agree that it would be precarious if we didn't have what we needed to supply, our military or whatever. But having enough to protect ourselves from like a forefront war is kind of absurd, especially considering that we would, of course, still have backup from other NATO countries. we need to maintain
Well,
dominance
one
of
front.
a country. Well, I'm sure we could handle a one front war, or even a two front, or even a three front war with what we have right now. I haven't seen anything to indicate that we wouldn't be able to handle something like that, and especially if we're working with NATO forces. And
I disagree vehemently on this point.
Really, why?
I mean, like, I think the Pentagon itself said, like, we have 2 weeks worth of munitions, like, if we fight in the South China Sea alone, right? If you wanted to cover Ukraine with the accurate amount of, like, Patriot batteries, you would need, like, at least 20. We haven't given them anything close to that, and that's batteries, just not launchers. And then the Taiwanese are on back order for, like, kind of the same number of munitions. And so right now we're spinning a bunch of plates, and we're skirting disaster because of it. And, like, I think, okay, if I can make, like, a broader point about, like, political trade-offs and political blindsides, like, I have the estimation that you guys are politically left, which is fine. I think there's a lot of fruit to be drawn from the political left. But I think this is, like, your, like, humongous blindside. I think you guys, like, don't understand, like, yeah, no, for sure, in defense, like, the systemic risk of defense. Like, I don't think you get, like, what's going on in the world in terms of deterrence. And I think because of that, like, you have blundering fools on the right who bluster. And they say that they'll do X, Y, and Z. They never do because they don't have their act together. And then you have people on the left who are, like, kind of blind because it's just not their forte. And then we get into positions like this. This is, like, end of empire shit unless we get our act together. And man, yeah.
Okay,
I think you guys should get.
All right, what does get our act together mean in this context exactly? Do you mean, like, get a bigger military? We're still larger than, like, the next 12 countries combined or something. Like, we are so incredibly massive as far as our military goes. We are the strongest military in the world. Best everything.
Yeah, but we're facing purpose-built threats in a bunch of different places, and specifically we're facing a purpose-built threat around Taiwan. Like, it doesn't matter how much you spend if they can spend less for a greater effect. So you can, like, quote who has what and who has the most, but it doesn't really matter if you show up with a bunch of carrier battle groups in that arena and they get, like, sunk by, like, a bunch of cheaper precision guided munitions.
Yeah, but what makes you think China's like, stuff is better than America's stuff? Like, we have the best trained military, all of the best parts. The world buys munitions and planes and stuff from us.
Yeah, I'd agree. But in the end of the day, it's like, it's precision guided munitions and interceptors, right? And those are finite stocks. Like, we can go look it up and we can figure out how much we have. The Pentagon says they got 2 weeks worth of precision guided munitions for a fight in the South China Sea. We know the whole Chinese missile stock is, like, made to defeat the U.S. Navy around the South China Sea. Like, they're
certainly thinking about the U.S., right? Because they want to go to war with Taiwan or whatever, and we've sworn to protect Taiwan. But I really don't think that China has a shot in hell at fighting the United States head on. And I think everybody knows that. And for that reason, China will never directly challenge the United States, in my opinion. Not for a long time.
I think if we don't replenish missile stocks, like, that's when they might, especially if they face political risk in their country. And that's what I mean about, like, getting serious. Like, if you don't count the tanks, if you don't count the missiles, if you don't get serious about defense, like, shit will fall apart. And I think that's what's happened. That's what happened in Ukraine. That's what's happening in, like, the Middle East. It's all happening at once. What do you mean? And there's, like, great systemic risk.
What happened in Ukraine and the Middle East?
In terms of, like, I think we underfunded them and we didn't send them, like, the right amount of munitions, and we trickled them out munitions, and, like, we made it a morass for the Russians. But, like, and actually, like, that was just a horrible thing to do. We should have gave them 20 Patriot batteries up front. We should have gave them a bunch of shore ads so they could defend themselves from like the emergent drone threat, and then they could have like stopped the Russians pounding their energy supply. And now when we're in negotiations with them like we are right now, we could have been in a much better position. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't get like granular and if we don't get serious, then like we're going to find ourselves in another Ukraine, and it might be worse, and it might be systemic.
I don't think that I don't think that Ukraine's issues are the result of America not having enough military funding. I think it's the result of us not giving them enough of what we have or whatever. And also, we certainly have way more funding than we need, right? We could absolutely cut the funding dramatically and reapportion what we are funding to other things to be more ready to face a battle in the South China Sea or whatever. It doesn't have to we don't have to raise funding, right, to accomplish what you would like to see accomplished.
I don't think you need to raise money. I think you can create money.
No, I mean, should the military get more than $1 trillion as it is currently apportioned?
It should get a portion of what's happening now should be like dramatically rerouted into the right things. But yeah, there should be like probably at least $500 billion put to just expanding the missile supply and expanding production capacity within the United States.
Okay, well, I think that's an awful lot of money. That's half the money that they get. I think we could probably focus on that more, but that is so much money, it's ridiculous. I don't think we need to spend that much, like not even close, generally.
Hey man, when you got to fix the transmission in your car, it's like going to cost a portion of your car. But if like nobody is focusing on the issue, it's going to lead to rot, and that's exactly what we got. So now we like have to pay the piper, or we're going to face like systemic risk.
I think my biggest concern is the corruption that's being that's hollowing out literally everything at the top of the government. I'm more worried about the money that Trump is kind of rerouting into his own bank account than I am. I'm more worried about that than I am redirecting money in the military to one thing or another, because I honestly do not worry about anybody attacking the United States or getting in a direct conflict with the U.S. I just don't see it happening ever.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, that's an opinion, but I don't think it's an informed one. Honestly, I think you're living ignorantly.
Really? You think that it's ignorant to think that like nobody would attack the United States directly? Like China is not going to attack the United States directly.
No, but China would take Taiwan by force, no?
Again, like they've been talking about that, and I can see that as a little bit more plausible, but I doubt with everything in my being that we're going to end up with boots on the ground, like military facing off against military. We would probably maybe have some NATO operations, some targeted strikes in that area. We wouldn't have warships in the South China Sea. We would probably do like a lot more funding. We would give them ammunition and things like that with targeted strikes at best.
How would we give the Taiwanese funding? How would we give them ammunition?
By delivering it to them. I'm not sure what you mean. You saying that you think that China is going to blockade?
Specifically, yeah, dude. What do you know? You don't think if they wanted that, they wouldn't just take they wouldn't blockade, not letting ships through, and then
China's strategy has been more to turn the government against itself, like they did in Hong Kong. They didn't invade with boots on the ground. They slowly but surely eroded democracy, even carrying people out. And I know that Taiwan is a slightly
on the table
situation. What?
All options are on the table, man.
Yeah, I just don't think we're going to get into a hot war with China. I don't see that happening. Boots on the ground, hot war. Maybe I'm incorrect, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, it's more about like I don't understand how like you don't see this as a systemic risk to like the world order.
What, China taking Taiwan?
Yeah, let's start there.
I do see that as a problem. I don't want that to happen. That would completely destroy a lot of our industries, like the chip production in Taiwan. We rely on it heavily, so I don't want that.
Yeah, but it wouldn't just like destroy that. Like it would destroy all the alliance structures. Would essentially tear themselves apart.
I don't know about that. I think you're overstating everything a bit.
Well, I mean, that might be true, but I think to some extent, like, do you think like the Koreans or the Japanese are going to look at us like we're going to cash their checks on defense, like if we don't do what we say in regards to Taiwan?
I'm not sure what you mean.
About like our word being bankrupt. Like if we don't cash our check with the Taiwanese and we don't defend them, like what is that?
We
like,
absolutely should. I just don't think it's going to be a hot war in that way, if or when that happens. I think that there will be other things. I mean, the world will come together and there will be sanctions and everything similar to what we saw with Ukraine and Russia, except more intense because it's a slightly different situation with Taiwan and China. But having boots on the ground in a hot war is a totally different thing.
Yeah, but if they go to invade, right? Like we would have to intervene, no?
Yes.
Yeah. So
but I don't think that we would. I don't think we would be intervening with boots on the ground like that, and I don't think that they're going to full on invade like that either. I think they're going to try to use democracy against itself, just like with Hong Kong.
So you don't think that's like a possibility at all?
I think it's a possibility, but I don't think it's particularly likely.
Yeah. This is what I mean. I feel like this is like a glaring blind spot of your like political ideology.
I know a ton about this subject. What are you talking about? It's a glaring blind spot.
I mean, you didn't even know like munition stocks are running low. You know what I mean?
Okay,
like if you can't talk that, what do you know?
I don't believe the current Pentagon. I don't believe literally anything out of this administration. I don't know if specific munitions are running low. I'm not sure if they're running low, but I have a hard time believing anything from this administration. And I have a hard time believing it when any administration says the military is broke, they need more funding, they need more money. Oh, we just don't have enough.
No, this is honestly, this is something like they are not saying on that level. This is like if you read the tea leaves and you look at all like where everything needs to be, this just becomes
we're going
kind of patently obvious.
Read the tea leaves. Got it. We're reading tea leaves now. Okay.
No. You know what I mean. You know what I mean, dog. That's a nice little trick, but you know exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, look. It sounds like you're saying the military wants more funding. And when I pushed back on that, you said, well, I guess we could apportion it differently. You said that there's certainly going to be a hot war with...
There is no plan. There is no plan to, like, massively expand missile stocks or to, like, bring shipbuilding into, like, the United States in a way that's meaningful. There's, like, no real plan of that.
Okay. Well, I'm more worried. I really don't see anybody engaging in a hot war with the United States anytime soon. And I know China wants to go after Taiwan. They've been eyeballing it for a while. I know they've been watching what Russia and Ukraine, how that plays out, because they've been learning lessons from it. I understand that, but I don't sit up at night worrying if there's going to be a hot war between between China and the United States anytime soon. And I think the military is plenty funded.
And it's not just about the military. We can put the military aside because the same money creation mechanism you could use to fund the military, you could use to fund like any assortment of social programs. So like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people lack a bit of imagination in terms of policy.
I don't understand. Like I sat here and I answered all your questions, and I am very knowledgeable on the subject, obviously, but you're still saying that there's like a gap in knowledge or something. I don't understand what you are talking about here. Why would you think that? That this is like a gap in ideology or whatever?
Yeah, I think so, honestly.
I don't understand. How can I possibly prove that I just sat here and answered all of your questions?
If you can't concede like what I just said about like missile stocks,
you don't understand.
It means like you don't even know that on the first level. You know what I mean?
Owen, you don't understand. You answer the questions, but you don't agree with him yet. That means that you're just stupid and ignorant and wrong about everything. Don't you know?
That's the hang.
No, I wouldn't say that.
My mistake.
I wouldn't say that.
I can't wait to see you run for office, Ray.
No, I don't have that. I don't have that in me.
Right. Look, I think some of the things that the way you view the world is kind of ridiculous and not representative of reality at all. I do appreciate the conversation, though. It was interesting. And I think the military...
We're in agreement about one another.
And we're what?
Then we're in agreement about one another.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you for the call. I appreciate it.
Okay, you have a great night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I don't understand. Go ahead.
No, I was just sitting here. This is not my area. I was just sitting here listening, and woof. Have you considered this? Yes, I have, and here's my opinion. Well, okay, that's fucking stupid, because you haven't considered this.
I know, and he's very obviously taking the Pentagon at their word right now that they don't have enough money. Like, when the fuck was that a good idea? That was what his entire thing was premised upon. The Pentagon says we don't have enough money. I'm sorry, I don't believe you.
No.
Like,
it's just, I wouldn't have believed that in any administration, not just this one, but this one least of all.
Yes, exactly. And I said I'm way more worried about corruption and where the money is going that they already have than worrying about them having more money.
We outspend, like, we on the military spending, we outcompete like the next, what was it, like 12 countries combined.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them are our allies. And it's just like, I'm not sorry. Also, I don't know how much of this you covered. I came in late and I wasn't listening towards the end of it, but like, fucking, don't they failed like every fucking audit. They just lose billions of dollars and we don't know where it went. We've lost like planes and shit and we just don't know where they are. Like, no, sorry, you don't get any more money ever now. Can you imagine a school doing that? And then you want to talk about funding public education? Bullshit. No.
Yeah, exactly. And I understand that a lot of the money that they can't account for is more like we won't account for it because it's classified. But they
Secretive,
absolutely lost. Yeah, secretive. But they literally, like, planes roll off the back of aircraft carriers. Do you remember that happened like twice recently? Those things are like millions of dollars each or something. So anyway, they spend money.
Like, here we are.
Yeah, they spend money like fools, and there is so much corruption in the entire system from the bottom up. If you want more funding for the military, then get rid of all of the corruption, and they can have the money that's from that.
Right. You know, like you would do with any other thing. It's so dumb. That really is the argument, it seems. Like, yeah, okay, well, we can't treat the military like we would treat any other government agency, any other business, any other just person. We can't treat them that way because we might get invaded by China. What a lame fucking, like, what? I don't know, man.
And I also really don't worry about a hot war with China either. That's absurd.
It doesn't sound like it. They could just pull the plug on our fucking, we owe them bazillions of dollars in debt. They will. Yeah. It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. With that, Owen, do you have anything that you want to wrap up the show with?
I think that's it. I really appreciate you coming on, or I'm sorry, I appreciate you having me on the show with you. Check out.
Would have done it, but it wasn't my choice.
Okay. Well, thank you for allowing me on. Then we'll put it that way. Anyway,
I could have thrown a tantrum.
Check out. Check out my website cultarchive.org if you want to see like historical tests for like a cults and how they rank on the cult score and all that stuff. Yeah, check that out. That's it.
The person in the chat who says they're in the queue, no, you're not. If you think you are, you're not. The call, there's 0 out of 0 calls, and the host connection is shut down and has been for a minute. So
they might have tried to call 24 times, but they were blocked. Because we did have 24 blocked calls.
We had 24 blocked calls today. 24 people who have been banned and tried to call in. So, like, maybe that's what's going on. Who knows? Great show. Fun show. Best show ever. Thank you, Owen, for being an amazing co-host. Love working with you, my dude. Hope to do it again sometime. Thank you to Luxander for producing tonight. Thank you to our mods in chat for keeping things civil and sane. Thank you to the people in chat, even the ones that sucked. Thank you to our callers, even the ones that sucked. Thank you for watching. Have an all-special day. I'll never stop learning. See you later. Bye.